Gordon ended his long holdout yesterday. Eagles corner Avonte Maddox is out of the hospital and back in Philadelphia today after he left last night's game against the Packers on a stretcher late in the fourth quarter. Maddox was accidentally hit in the head by teammate Andrew Sendejo. The Eagles beat the Packers last night because the defense held on during 2 fourth-quarter Green Bay drives inside the 5-yard line. ESPN's Keyshawn Johnson didn't like the Packers play calling late in the game.
The 4 times on the yard line they didn't get it in, they elected to throw the football, not one run. Now, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers could have waved the play call off.
Buccaneers rookie linebacker Devin White is out for Sunday's game against the Rams. He still has a sprained knee. He'll miss his second game in a row. Pac-12 football tonight on ESPN at 10:30 Eastern. 15th ranked Cal hosting Arizona State.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, with no limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cash Back Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey everybody, welcome in once again on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau on the road. We are in the press box at Mandarin High School because our game of the week on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and the Friday Night Blitz on CBS 47 and Fox 30 is the Nice Panthers against the Mandarin Mustangs in this really good District 8A in the state of Florida. So we'll talk all about that coming up in just a little bit. But we also have plenty of NFL news, college football, celebrity six-pack. Brett Myers will join us a little bit later. And speaking of celebrities, well, he's back in the Action Sports Jack studios, and that is Austin Lane, who we just don't spend a lot of time together anymore, Austin.
No, man, it's all good. You know, I'm not hating on it. It is what it is. You're out gallivanting the countryside, and I'm here at home trying to take care of everything. So I'm not saying I'm bitter, not saying I'm jealous. I just want to put out a very good show today. Yeah,
please do. And by the way, at least you're not sweating like I am. This is not a complaint, but it is hot right now in here. I mean, it was nice this morning outside.
Yeah.
This is the hottest I've been yet. You know, you lug the equipment around, you get up here in the press box. They say they've got a little AC here. I might want to check that because it's pretty hot right now here at Mandarin High School.
Yeah, anytime I can be in the AC as much as I sweat and everything, I'm not complaining whatsoever. So respectfully, I'd probably rather be in the studio right now than hanging out with you.
Yeah, probably. Well, the thing about it, too, is that we're deep into the month of September, and these high school kids are playing in the heat still.
Yeah.
And early start, too. It's a 6 o'clock start time, so we will have the show up until about 5:45, and then we'll hit our Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show, and Kevin Sullivan and I will call this broadcast and on all the social media platforms as well. So early start, and some of the schools, like Nice is coming from St. John. I don't even think they can bus over here until 4:30. So they have to warm up fast, speed everything up, and the 6 o'clock starts are not for everyone.
No, absolutely not, man. Traditionally, when I was playing, you know, it was like I think it was like the 7:30, 8 o'clock start time when the sun goes down, and that's definitely the way you want to do it, and especially being in the Midwest where it's a little cooler too. Like, see, to me, with all due respect to, you know, the city of Jacksonville, like this doesn't seem like temperatures for football yet. You know, like once the leaves start changing color, once the temps start getting cooler, that's like the ideal temperatures for football. But I get it, man, and more power to those kids because I couldn't imagine. Well, I guess I did play football here for a little bit, but I still can't believe I ever did that.
And there's no such thing as Friday night lights when the sun's still shining, man.
Friday night brights, am I right?
Yeah, well, the sun goes down a little bit earlier now, and these games take longer and longer. So they'll play under the lights tonight, no doubt about it, through probably from 7:30 on. So you get a little bit of both. And Duval County did the best they could with the whole situation, trying to keep everybody safe. And this is what they came up with. We'll see if they tweak it at all.
Sure.
Hey, here's the deal, man. The news of the last 2 weeks just won't stop, and we kind of expected to get a little bit of news on Jalen Ramsey today. I think I did not expect him to go on the podcast again yesterday and at least give one more, you know, stoke to the fire that is the Jalen Ramsey and the Young and the Ramsey, as we're calling it in the soap opera that is 20 Land and the Jaguars. But first things first, and the most important news of the day is when the Jaguars injury report came out, it listed Jalen Ramsey as questionable for the football game. Well, I think that's a pretty good sign, Austin, that he's questionable. I don't know how much this has to do with injuries or the birth of his second child that did happen. He had another baby girl, and so that part is over. I don't know if the questionable has to do with will he get to Denver, will he be back with the team, or is it because of all the injuries that he reported during the week?
So first of all, I can't believe that we're not doing the show in Nashville today because, people didn't believe that Jalen Ramsey was actually having a baby. So I felt like we should have been there, Brent, to at least, maybe get some behind-the-scenes footage just so we could prove that Jalen Ramsey indeed did have a baby. This wasn't some intricate facade where he planned to do this whole thing because maybe he wants to get traded or he planned on sitting out this game. I haven't seen a picture yet, so it's not really official, I guess. Of course, Doug Marrone said something, but I guess maybe until Jalen Ramsey goes on Twitter and posts something, there could still be, some skeptics out there. But nevertheless, I think it's more of just the fact where he's going to be in Nashville with his child more than is the injuries, right? Because he reported these injuries supposedly after the Thursday night game. And I get it, like a back injury, it's hard to say exactly how severe that kind of injury is, right? Because there's really, you could take x-rays, you could do MRI, but it kind of goes off the player's feel. So knowing that and then knowing kind of what Nate Burleson said, where I think he tweeted out where saying that Jalen Ramsey is expected to play, I would say the signs are positive that Jalen Ramsey makes that trip to Denver.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. His newfound buddy in the media appears to be Nate Burleson, and that's not a bad one to have. I really like Nate. And so he's been doing this podcast, and I think Burleson, since he's talked to Ramsey the last couple of weeks, I think Burleson said, hey, he expects him to play and have an interception on Sunday against the Denver Broncos. So I think that kind of was like, well, maybe he will go. As for the actual quote from Doug Marrone, what he had to say today after practice, and he speaks very briefly, and this was real brief. This was a 4-question quick news conference, and really all of it, other than one question, was about Jalen Ramsey. So 3 out of the 4 questions. He basically just opening statement was, first of all, congratulations. But if they are planning to play with or without Ramsey, he said he's listed as questionable, personal with the baby being born, and with his low back injury. So questionable probably puts it right where it is. And I don't know which one will weigh more heavily on him being available to play on Sunday, but either way, he's got 2 different things to worry about and work on if you're the Jaguars and whether you're going to have Jalen Ramsey, because obviously you want Jalen Ramsey out there for a couple of reasons, Austin. One, he's so darn good, you want him out there. It gives you a better chance to win the football game. And 2, I think, selfishly from the Jags' point of view, it's like, hey, we don't know what the future is with Jalen Ramsey, but we might as well get every ounce of that guy we can possibly get right now. Wouldn't you believe the Jags are thinking that way?
Obviously, especially, if I'm a GM, if I'm a head coach and my job is still on the line. I get it. We got Gardner Minshew mania going on right now. That doesn't secure my job. What secures my job is winning ball games. And the fact of the matter is, regardless if Jalen's having babies, if he's sick, if his back is sore, whatever the case may be, there is no denying how much you want to hate on it that Jalen Ramsey, when he's on the field for the Jacksonville Jaguars, makes that team better. Period. Case shut. End of story.
Yeah, absolutely. He does do that. And it's going to be fascinating to watch, man. I'm excited to see what happens in this next part of it. I think Nate Burleson's on to something, number one, so that gives me a little bit more confidence to say it. But I do think if you unveil everything else about what has gone on these last couple of weeks with Jalen Ramsey, and I think you just get it down to this guy loves to play football. Organizations like to find guys that love to play football. I think it's part of the reason they picked Gardner Minshew, man. It's a 6th-round guy. You can go in a lot of different directions. You don't necessarily need to go in a backup QB. But that guy, you can tell, loves to play the game of football. And that came across in the interview, in the combine, his smarts, all these other things. It's not the only reason. But I think it kind of separates you. It puts it over the top. Some guys you can just tell. Right? Guys that have walked through these doors in Jacksonville, guys that you played with in your 4 or 5 year career. Couldn't you just tell, you could tell Paul Posluszny didn't really want to do much of anything else other than play football. And I'm not saying Jalen's like that, because I think he does like the business side of it and he does like the brand side of it. But I do think you sense that he really loves to play the game of football. That is his time, man, on Sunday afternoon. And he relishes it. And I don't think anything else you can say about the guy. You want to be on this side or that side, the Coughlin side, the Ramsey side, the was he sick, the wasn't he sick, the whatever else. You can't really take that away from the guy. You can tell he's a passionate football player, and that speaks volumes on the football field. So if you strip everything out of this and really cut it down to the bone on whether he will play or not on Sunday, I think oftentimes, Austin, that wins the day.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. He's a very passionate football player. He loves the game, and he also approaches it with his work ethic, right? And that's something that we don't really talk about a lot, you know? And in the world of the entitled, selfish athlete, nobody ever brings up how hard Jalen Ramsey works to maintain, his high caliber play. Now, yes, maybe, he was a freak athlete in high school, maybe one of those front runners, even out of college, the first round pick. But it's almost harder sometimes, Brent, where to be the underdog, maybe to be that small school guy, to come in and have that work ethic. But it may be even harder to be that front runner your whole life and to stay hungry, to stay active, to keep maintaining, have that little bit of dog in you that you don't want to be outworked. You don't want to, be passed up by somebody else. So, it shows just his work ethic and how he approaches the game, not only on the field, but off the field.
I love that you just said that, man. I love you brought that up, because actually I'm driving home from Jaguars All Access last night, and Kaylee came with me. She wanted to go to All Access and see Calais Campbell and Josh Allen, so she came. And on the way home, I was talking to her about exactly that, just how much God-given ability these guys have, but at the same time, how much you have to work, even though you have all that talent, to maximize it. And we were just having the conversation, and I think you're exactly right. I don't think we give everybody, by the way, not all athletes, but especially the elite athletes, enough credit for how hard they work to get there and how hard they work to stay there and on top of that mountain. And I think it's a little bit of why we see Jalen Ramsey he almost has to feed his own beast. You know what I mean? Yeah. He almost has to say, we talked about this earlier in the week, like he is not afraid to put the target on him. He plays in a position where he is the target all the time. He's out there on that island. He gets either praised or ridiculed every play, depending if he gives up a pass or if he makes a play. And he embraces that. But to the same point, that's why he does the GQ article. That's why he might say stuff in the media. That's why he's not afraid to ask for this trade request, because he does not mind the target at all. And some guys do. Some guys don't like that part of it. And I think Ramsey kind of relishes it. I think it keeps the chip on the shoulder, the motivation going. Whatever drives him, I think it actually helps him.
You're absolutely right. And we got to remember, even the landscape of back when I played to now, Brent, how it's a little bit different. I think back when I played, it was the in thing to do was to post that you're training. Like during the off season, you post yourself in the squat racks. You're posting your new max or whatever on the bench press, and that's what guys did. And that's kind of where that one tweet came from, where I was supposed to be on NFL Live, but Sarah Welsh kind of did me dirty. But that's okay. That's we've already been over that. We've cracked that oyster, and we don't need to revisit that thing again.
Yeah, that doesn't bother you at all. You don't hold grudges or anything.
Not even bitter at all, man.
No.
You talk about branding. I really missed my opportunity there. But no, that was the thing, right? It was to come across as, even in the offseason, I'm working hard. I'm staying at it. I'm a team first guy. Well, people started to make fun of that. People were like, we get it. You're training. Of course, you're a professional athlete. Why wouldn't you be training? And all of a sudden, it kind of seems like now where maybe guys are taking more pictures of vacation or popping bottles in the club or a new car that they purchased. And sometimes I think the general public forgets that, hey, these guys are still working. Just because they're not posting maybe every single day of them in the weight room or them, going through their playbook doesn't mean they're not taking this game very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Jalen Ramsey, we'll see if he plays. He's listed as questionable. The one more thought coming up a little bit later on the show about the podcast comments. Did he open up the can of worms again, or is it just the same old stuff we'll get to? But I got a different topic to get to when we come back, Austin. Are the Jaguars the most entertaining football team in the NFL right now? Think about that.
I'm gonna think about that a little bit. I'm gonna marinate on that one for the break, and I'll have an answer when we come back.
Everybody else can too, and you can always jump in on social media platforms, on Ramsey, on the Jags, on are they the most entertaining team in the NFL, on the field, off the field, combined. You know, it's bigger than just, hey, do we score 40 points a game? Yeah, the answer would be Kansas City. That's not what I'm talking about here. So jump on in, star 690, 904-362-9901. Join the conversation here on a Friday. We'll have some fun. Our high school game of the week is Nice at Mandarin. That's coming up at 6 o'clock, but more of this show right after this on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Another hot day today under partly sunny skies with highs between 90 and 95. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm JV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond. Follow the wave to Atlantic Infinity during this summer's sales event.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
The only one for a luxurious showroom.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
The only one with a stress-free buying experience.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
The only one fast, dependable service.
Follow the waves to the only one Atlantic Infinity.
Don't miss the summer sales event happening now at Atlantic Infinity, 10980 Atlantic Boulevard.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with a licensed local expert with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Hey, boss.
What?
You think it's okay to get out of here yet?
No, the cops may be still patrolling around out there. Give it another 10 minutes.
Okay. Boss?
What?
You still mad at me?
Well, let's assess our situation, shall we? Here we are hiding out from the cops in this storm pipe because you neglected to determine that the house we came up on had safe touch security. Is my assessment correct?
Yeah, but I swear they didn't have safe touch last week.
I don't want to hear about it, Corn Pop. We didn't even get to the front door before the safe touch video monitoring kicked in. Now here we are, crouching in this stinking ditch.
Sorry, boss.
Just so I know you know, tell me the Crooks R Us motto again.
Stay away from safe touch houses.
At least you got that right.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax. Thank you for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Everyone is loving our in-depth coverage of the Jaguars, the NFL, and all things sports. Another thing our listeners will love, your business. Let's work together and get you on the fastest growing sports station in Northeast Florida. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 904-245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
And this guy writes in, where was all this Masvidal love before his recent success? Real fans have had his back for a long time.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and on your smart speaker.
Hey, welcome back here to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you're having a good week, everybody, and head into the weekend in style and maybe enjoy some football all weekend long. little bit of a cupcake game for the Florida Gators, you would think, although Towson's got a good football team. Watch out for that game. Not to be like an upset, but maybe a little tighter than a lot of people think, and some 30-something point spread. I think it could be. We'll get to some of our picks a little bit later on. That will not be one. Not picking the 35-point spread. But UCF, see how much they bounce back. They're like a 43-point favorite against UConn, and I wouldn't want to be UConn this week. Do have a couple of good games in college football. Still not anything to kind of get you all sorts of juiced up, but not like last week's Notre Dame-Georgia game. But we'll talk a little college football, Florida State, where all the locals fit, and what else is happening. Plus our pick segment coming up. I want to get into a broader look at the NFL as well, going into week number 4, because I think we're about to figure out, okay, who are some of these football teams, Austin? Like, are they any good? Did they play a soft schedule at the beginning? Yeah. It's hard to tell right now because we have a lot of haves and have-nots in the NFL, which is not usually the case, right? Every single week you're like, well, that team could beat that team. Maybe it's a touchdown game. Once in a while you'll see an 8-point spread, a 9-point spread. Well, now all of a sudden we're getting 22-point spreads and 23-point spreads and 15.5-point spreads even on the road because of teams like the Dolphins and the Redskins. So where – and the Jets, I guess. Yeah. Where are these teams going into week 4? I think is fascinating. Think about the New England-Buffalo game, Austin. Those teams are 3-0. They have played teams that are a combined 1-17, and the only reason that is the Giants beat the Bucs because the Bucs missed a chip shot field goal.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It is kind of because, they say usually going into like week 3, week 4, you kind of know what you have as a team, right? You know if you're a division contender, if you're kind of a pretender. I mean, for instance, last night, if you would have gave me the odds last night on Green Bay winning, I would put a mortgage down on it. I would put my son's college tuition down on that because Green Bay at home with the way Philly was injured, I thought there's no way they're going to come to Aaron Rodgers' house and win that game. But guess what? They did. And all of a sudden we saw a Green Bay defense last night that got exposed a little bit. A defense with the Green Bay Packers for the first couple weeks was being lauded as one of the best defenses in the NFL. So it's crazy how it can change week to week, depending on the talent. When you have an example like the New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, 2 solid defenses so far we've been talking about, right? Well, have they really played a legit offense yet, And we'll see with Buffalo, I mean, are the Bills for real this year? Are they kind of pretenders as well? So that's going to be a good measuring stick for them, especially playing in Buffalo where, it's always a hard place to play. So it's funny. We always say like week 3, week 4, you know what you got as a football team. But now the way the NFL is set up this year where it's, it's top heavy and then the bottom of it is just – it's a dumpster fire, to say the least, I guess. It's hard to gauge exactly where your team's at right now.
Yeah, and we have a lot of big injuries to quarterbacks, right? Nick Foles, and obviously Sam Darnold out with the with mono, and then you got Drew Brees, and you have Cam Newton, and I mean the list is going on and on. So there's a lot of big talent out there, not necessarily for the entire season. So I think that's something else. All right, we'll get to the NFL, though. I want to talk about the crazy play call in a Green Bay. I'm telling you, sometimes bravado doesn't win the day in the NFL, and you can get pass happy and crazy, and just because you have Aaron Rodgers, you get a little nuts, and I think Green Bay did it yesterday, so we'll talk about it. But I want to stay on the Jags. Are the Jags, I mean, we just mentioned a lot of NFL teams, man. Are the Jags the most entertaining football team right now in the NFL, if you consider everything? I mean, they're only 1-2. They don't play this unbelievable style of brand of football, though on Thursday Night Football they look pretty good and pretty entertaining, with Minshew doing his thing and everybody talking about him, with Ramsey being the topic of conversation on all shows across the country for 2 straight weeks now, for this defense in Saxonville finally returning and that talented defensive front and more talented players on that side of the ball. DJ Chark, he's up there in terms of receiving yards. I think you can make the case that the Jaguars might be the most entertaining football team in the National Football League.
So when you say entertaining, though, you're saying it kind of on a whole, right? Like as far as maybe the drama's concerned, as far as, I guess just like sitting back and having some popcorn, like with Gardner Minshew. Like, I mean, it's kind of the whole thing, right? Like we're not taking really wins and losses into account. It's just that the entertaining team to follow right now.
Absolutely.
Kind of like the end team.
Hey, listen, put it in this context.
Yeah.
Like Washington State's going to be on that Hard Knocks kind of version of what they're doing on HBO, right?
Yes.
Well, they're not the best program. Like Florida's in that. Alabama was going to be in it, but they're not. I forget who else is in it. But anyway, they're not the best program. But they probably will be the most entertaining watch on that show.
Just because the coach,
and so
yeah.
Because of the coach, because they score 1 million points, because Pullman Washington, all those things. I think they'll be fascinating to watch. And yes, Leach leads the way. So yes, there are other ways to do it. If you wanted to say what's the most entertaining football team, well, you would probably say the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, It's a track meet every single time. But that's not what I mean by this. I mean, if you had Hard Knocks embedded with every single football team in the National Football League, and you had 32 different channels to watch Hard Knocks on. Right now, if the Jaguars were on channel, let's just say like 30, because Fox 30. So
okay,
you get that?
There you go.
Good tie-in.
Nice.
Well, let's just say I would probably have it on channel 30, even if I lived in the Midwest, the Northeast, or maybe even out West. I got my popcorn ready here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I would come with you on that. I agree with you on that, where, they're kind of the in thing right now with Gardner Minshew leading the way, and obviously Jalen Ramsey being mentioned in the headlines as a top story in sports pretty much every single day. So, yeah, I definitely would agree with you on that. The question is whether they can sustain it or not, because this whole Gardner Minshew thing, which is fantastic and everything, and I don't mean this as an insult to Gardner Minshew at all, but it kind of reminds me of like the Ryan Fitzpatrick stuff from last year, right? Like all of a sudden Fitzmagic was born. Jameis goes out. Fitzmagic comes in and just starts putting up these redonkulous numbers. And then all of a sudden we got Fitzmagic rocking his beard, wearing like this Russian tracksuit, rocking the shades and the gold chain. I mean, looked like a, kind of like a Conor McGregor cosplay kind of thing. And like that was the in thing. Like that was it. Like that was football. That was the meme. That was the headline every single day. And people were talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Well, what happened with Ryan Fitzpatrick, though? We started to see who Ryan Fitzpatrick really was. And, yeah, he had a couple great games, and all of a sudden he started to falter, throw out interceptions, and then entered Jameis Winston again. And then people forgot all about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, there was for one point where the Buccaneers were kind of the must-see TV, right? Like, they're putting up all the points. They had the crazy guy at the helm and Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then, like, as soon as it came, then it left. And that's the most important thing going forward here with Gardner Minshew and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, you have this momentum right now. You've only won one game so far, but you have all this momentum. People are keying in to watch you. You just have to sustain. You just have to keep on winning. If you keep winning, not only is it going to solve a lot of stuff, I think, in the locker room with Jalen Ramsey, but it's going to also solve the problem where are people going to keep on tuning in to watch you?
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's a fair point. That's a very good example of Tampa Bay because they were kind of like that last year. There are always teams like it. I think the Jags have sat in this position a little bit before, maybe not as the most entertaining because we haven't seen a Minshew Mania deal. We haven't seen anything like that. That is so unique. And then the Ramsey thing has been about as unique as we found here in Jacksonville too. So, but if you go back to 2017, NFL Network, ESPN, all these shows were talking about this Jags defense. It was like, whoa, look at Saxonville, Duval and Saxonville became a thing. Now, I don't think it was the most watched thing in the NFL. I think it was among the storylines. This one, though, I think you can argue. Look, I'm going to go down teams real quick. Rapid fire. The Patriots are boring. Forget about them. The Bills, they're kind of a boring 3-0 team, quite honestly. You can talk about them, but they're boring. The Dolphins suck. The Jets, no good right now. The Ravens are one team I think that you could put in this conversation because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's trying to figure out what they're doing, and Harbaugh's kind of changing his way around. And that's a fascinating one. The Browns could be entertaining because you don't know if this thing will combust.
I think they're going to be entertaining regardless, right? Because if they start doing well, then, Baker Mayfield's going to be his, good old self. And if this team, keeps playing like they're playing right now, I mean, yeah, this has all the characteristics with Odell Beckham Jr., with Baker Mayfield, with a new coach. This could be a pretty combustible team.
Yeah, Bengals are boring. The Steelers, man, they're so boring now. They lost Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Now there's nothing to talk about on a soap opera daily basis type of thing.
Blue collar, yep. James Conner and Smith-Schuster, very blue collar now.
That's right. The Texans and Colts, whatever, right? The Titans are always boring. Eat more mayonnaise. The Chiefs are very exciting. The Chiefs are right up there because they're just such an exciting brand of football, and it feels like the late 90s, early 2000s St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf. Mm-hmm. The Raiders, I think they've quieted down once they got rid of Antonio Brown. Chargers, Broncos. The Broncos, by the way, did you see Von Miller walked out of a news conference? 15 seconds, and that was it. That's all he did with the media. But that was about all from an entertainment value. Cowboys are always interesting. They haven't played much, but they're 3-0, and if the Cowboys are 3-0, that's a top storyline. I think the Eagles are a storyline. The Giants and Daniel Jones have become a big storyline after the last week, and the Redskins are whatever. The Lions are boring. The Packers, Vikings and Chicago, the kicker stuff isn't as prevalent. And then you have the Saints, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks, and Cardinals. And I just don't see anything playing out like we have here in Jacksonville. So I just ran through the entire list of teams, and I maybe will give you the Giants because of their market size and the new QB and going out with Eli Manning. Now the loss of Saquon Barkley. I'll give you the Cowboys because they're playing so well right now, and they are the Dallas Cowboys. I'll give you the Kansas City Chiefs because they are just electric. They are playing video game football in the NFL that we haven't seen in at least 20 years and maybe never before. But again, I just go back to the Jaguars have something going on here that's about as unique as we've seen in Jacksonville and maybe across the NFL in quite some time. They have an actual soap opera story in Jalen Ramsey, and they have this craze going on right now with Minshew Mania.
Yeah, and it's like I said, obviously with Jalen Ramsey, the story's always going to be there whether they're winning or losing. With Gardner Minshew, as long as they keep winning, that story's going to be there. If they falter, if they start losing some games, I feel like that dies a little bit. So once again, it comes down to whether you're a Jaguars fan, whether you're a fan of picking the new trends, whether you're Doug Marrone, whether you're the front office. You have to win the ball games. That's exactly what it comes down to. Like, all this hype and everything is good, and having Uncle Rico there at the stadium, that's fantastic. Haven't seen that dude in 10 years, so it's good to see he's still doing his thing, still cashing those checks. But at the end of the day, man, it's about winning games first and foremost. And if you don't do that, all that stuff's going to go away.
Yeah, you got to stay relevant by winning games and enough games. You don't have to necessarily go undefeated, but you have to win enough games to stay relevant. One other thought there, too. How about one guy that could be a real star across the country and a talking point is Leonard Fournette, and nobody's really talking about him. The Jags hope people are talking about him on Sunday night because they need to start to run the football and be better about it. Bottom line for me, Austin, this whole conversation is if I'm Shad Khan, I'm sitting on the Kismet, and I'm like, sitting there with my feet up and a beverage and saying, hey, life isn't bad here in Jacksonville right now with my franchise. Everybody's talking about us.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whether they love you or they hate you, as long as they're talking about you, that means that you're making the money. So yeah,
spell the name right. That's all they ask. Just spell the name right.
So from that standpoint, it's definitely a good sign. So if I'm Shad Khan, listen, I would probably be as happy as I could be right now being 1-2 in the NFL. That's all I'm going to say.
And by the way, I say it tongue-in-cheek a little bit. I think Shad Khan really is concerned about this Ramsey situation and what they are going to do with it and how it ends up, because he's a really good football player, and I think they want to keep him. But at the same time, it is a business, and I think the Jacksonville Jaguars right now are getting more attention than I can remember in quite some time, some of it for Ramsey, some of it for Minshew, and now hopefully going forward, maybe it's because of the wins and the record that they have as well. When we come back, let's stay on the NFL, man. Let's talk a little bit more about the rest of the league, including that Green Bay game last night, and how coaches just outsmart themselves, get a little bit too full of themselves, and why, yes, it's a pass-happy league, but you better be able to do what Austin Lane always says. Run the football.
You better believe it.
And stop the run.
You better believe it.
And the Green Bay Packers did neither last night. That's next on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Sí, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
How do you feel about the guy like Stugatz who says the phrase in casual parlance, swipes 40 bags for you a season?
Oh, that's what you have to say. What are you talking about? You're the weird one here, Dan.
How else would you say
Put it on the poll. Swipes 40 bags a season. Jerk or no jerk?
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Vida de Louis, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, wants to help our friends in the Bahamas. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brent Martineau. Vida de Louis is one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. It's made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. But Vida de Louis has friends all over the world, and that includes in the Bahamas. Help us raise money for the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising.
Check out Vida de Louis on social media and the website VitaDeLouis.com.
50% of all merchandise will go to these funds. Please help Vida de Louis help the Bahamas by going to VitaDeLouis.com.
Mom, I've really enjoyed our time together, but I need my own space. I need more room to stretch, to grow. I need to see the world. I mean, I appreciate how nice it is here, but I'm thinking somewhere new, modern, spacious, with a nice view and with great service. A place where all the cool kids go. I'm thinking UF Health North. Yeah, UF Health North.
Learn more at north.ufhealthjax.org/babies.
Our partners at BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country, would like to thank all of the coaches out there who truly are the heart of the game. While BSN Sports is the best at equipping athletes with a one-stop shop for everything needed to run an athletic program, coaches are the best at equipping lives. And that's the real final score. Learn more about how BSN Sports can save you time off the field so you can impact more lives on it by calling your local BSN Sports sales professional or by visiting bsnsports.com today.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you have received a letter from the IRS and cannot pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank accounts and garnish your wages. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville, and recently voted the best tax attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly readers and selected as an ultimate tax attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only trust an experienced and award-winning tax firm to represent you. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. Online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and it can be your golf destination, the Golf Club at Southampton. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. The Golf Club at Southampton is where I play a lot of golf, and you can too. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY. Play some golf, watch some football, and oh yeah, food. They've got that too. Southampton has it all, even a special tailgate catering menu. Give Lisa a call for your tailgate catering. 287-PLAY for tee times, football, and food at the Golf Club at Southampton.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Supra sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander, it's not $35,500. Now it's only $24,888. That's $24,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Highlander at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota 4Runner? It's not $36,500. No way. Now it's just $28,888. Just $28,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota 4Runner at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Hey, Maurice Jones-Drew, how many times did you ask for a trade while you were a player?
I asked one time. I think it was when I was holding out. Kind of was like, hey, if this is the way you feel about me, maybe we can work something where I can go somewhere else.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Yeah, I really don't know what pass interference is anymore, so I'll just leave it at that.
Well, that's Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay Packers head coach. And why do we keep throwing challenge flags for pass interference when you're not going to overturn it, even if it is pass interference?
Yeah.
Come on, you guys were explained this rule. It has to be obvious. We know that. And they're not going to change everyone over change. I've actually was surprised when Joe Buck told us the stats on this, that it had been coming into this game 27 times they had challenged pass interference, and 7 times it had been overturned. I thought it would even be less than that. Believe it or not, that's actually a decent percentage, I think, from a challenge perspective on a play where it could be pass interference almost every single time a ball goes up in the air. So we have to figure this part out. Brent Martineau here at Mandarin High School, our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week, hanging out in the press box. The Mustangs will hold Nice on ESPN 690 tonight. And Action Sports Jax, Austin Lane, back in the studios here on a Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, I mean, what's the deal? Are we already carried away and sick and tired of the pass interference rule in the NFL?
I mean, I think you have to be sick and tired of it because I thought it was pass interference. So the fact that they didn't call it, I'm kind of sick and tired of that because it kind of makes you wonder, what was the point of the rule if it's not going to be overturned? There was one, I think, earlier in the game as well that even, I think, like the office in New York said, oh, yeah, that should have been overturned, and it wasn't overturned. So it's not a good look for the NFL. It's not a good look for referees when a team does challenge it. They go to the cameras or whatever. They go off the sidelines, and then they cut to New York, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, that should be a pass interference. That should be called. And all of a sudden the ref comes back out and he's like, nope, not pass interference. Like, that's not good. That's almost worse than implementing the rule in the first place. So, yeah, it's not a good look when there's so much disagreement going on between, if it is pass interference or not.
All right, well, you know how I feel about this stuff, okay? I think these kind of things help the NFL. And I think the fact that we're talking about it, the fact that there's drama and disagreement and debate in these games, especially in these Thursday night games, Monday night games, Sunday night game, the ones in prime time when everybody's tweeting and talking and Facebooking and everything else, I think it actually is beneficial to the NFL. Now, whether that's a contrived benefit or not, I'm not willing to go there. I'm just saying I think it is beneficial because it brings in drama and debate, and that's always good in as for a viewer. I think for a telecast, for a radio show, for anything, I think that drives a lot of attention in our world today. We always go back to this, Austin. That was a boring Super Bowl last year, 13-3. The Patriots beat the Rams, and I bring up the point. I think there might have been one challenge in that game, and that was it. Why was it so boring? Well, because it was only 13-3, but I think also because, well, we didn't have 3 or 4 or 5 questionable plays in a game that everybody was trying to dissect. I always think that adds intrigue to a broadcast.
Let me ask you this, though. So with the pass interference now, whether it is pass interference or not, you think, that adds to the game, the drama, people love that. But do you think last year when it was all about what constitutes a proper quarterback hit and then what constitutes roughing the passer for those first 5 weeks, do you think that was beneficial or do you think that hurt the game, though?
I think the NFL is doing pretty damn good, so I don't think it hurt the game.
Okay.
I don't. I don't look at that stuff as hurting the game. I understand your question. I understand the integrity of what you're saying there, and really the integrity of the league on some of these things. What Tom Brady's even saying, hey, too many flags being thrown, how are guys supposed to play? But I think we see it on the opposite end, too. I mean, Barnett should have been probably tossed out of that game yesterday, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So, again, the Barnett play, I think he probably should be tossed. I mean, we have targeting in college football for some silly stuff sometimes and stuff that's not malicious. That was malicious yesterday by Barnett. He should have been penalized. He'll be fined probably. I mean, he should have been more than penalized. He should have been ejected out of the game. Philadelphia should have been hurt by his absence. He comes back and makes a pretty big play later in the football game too, by the way. So I think all those things add to intrigue, discussion, debate, the things we're talking about right now. I think people view it differently. And I don't necessarily disagree or disrespect the view you have of it because the integrity of the game is important. But at the end of the day, it goes back to the last segment we just had, and that is it's an entertainment business. And to me, that adds entertainment to it, whether you like it or not, or whether it's even contrived and meaning to be entertaining or not.
No, I agree. Take, head coach Matt LaFleur, that was his pass interference comment. You can take Clay Matthews' comments last year about saying basically, listen, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to hit a quarterback without putting some body weight on him. I have literally no idea what to do. And I think you heard that from a lot of players last year. A lot of players echoed that. And I think when you have that, yeah, it doesn't really matter if the players are speaking out or not, right? Because the fans will still tune in to watch it. And if the fans agree with the players, they get in this uproar, that's not going to change the rating. So I get what you're saying there. But I'm just saying for the overall sanctity of the game, I feel like, if you start having all these discrepancies, if the players keep on to speak out or if the announcers speak out about it, I think eventually you may lose some of that luster that you have of the NFL. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and you might not be wrong.
Yeah.
And there might be too much of this stuff. And, well, listen, I'm overall not a big believer in all the replay we already have. I think it slows the game down, and I think that's where you might lose people more than anything else, is that this constant choppiness of a football game that we view and that we're at and that they play. And I think that's hurtful more than probably any of these other things that we're saying, because I think everybody likes a good flow to a game, and plus their attention span isn't that long. So it better be a damn good football game like last night to keep us all the way through, or it better be one of those deals where there's nothing else on last night so we can watch the entirety of that football game. And I think the ratings were very good for that Green Bay loss to Philadelphia. Obviously two big-time football areas playing a football game in prime time. I think I go back to the pass interference. And I think coaches are being a little silly in the way they're challenging this. And I don't know what they were told behind closed doors. But the way I interpreted what went on is this was all off that Saints-Rams game last year. And what happened in that Saints-Rams game? What did you do? And I'm going to do it right now on camera. I jump out of my seat and say, what the heck was that? They missed it. They missed that call. That was pass interference. How did they not say anything? How did they not throw a flag? Well, that was this new rule being put into play. It was, let's stop that play. Let's stop the play that everybody jumps out of their seat and says, how in the world did you not get that right? And therefore that official becomes criticized for the rest of their life because they screwed a whole town over of going to a Super Bowl. I did not see that last night, Austin. I didn't feel that in any of those plays. And therefore, I don't think you're going to change any of those plays, even though by the book, in slow motion, was it interference? Yeah, it probably was. But I'll tell you this, if they didn't review it more than one time, I'm not sure I would have jumped off my seat and said, oh my gosh, that was interference. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you may not have, Brent, as a casual observer, but I think the Packers fans last night would have done that because
of course they did, because they have their goggles on.
Well, yeah, but okay. But I mean, isn't that what it's? I mean, it's for the fans, right? So if you're cheering for the if you're a Packers fan and you feel like you got screwed out of a call, well, it's up to the NFL to make that right. Now, we can sit back and argue back and forth if it was a pass interference call or not, especially towards the end of the game. You know, when they're like on the 1 yard line, it appeared that the defensive back had his arms wrapped around the receiver at the goal line. That's just what it looked like. So. Yeah, I understand. Like,
he got there early. He did get there early.
Yeah, and not every play is going to be, clear as day like it wasn't in the Saints-Rams game. But you invited this whole thing. Once you start implementing the instant replay, well, then it's on the NFL to make it right. I don't care if it's not a play that doesn't make you stand up and go, oh, that's a pass interference call. Well, no, because there's some times where maybe there's a holding call where I don't stand up and scream that's holding, even though it is holding.
But they're not reviewing those, man.
But exactly. But I'm saying, the NFL, it's so fast, right? Like, the plays happen so quickly. And, yes, that play in New Orleans against the Rams, it was obvious. It was obvious as the day is long that was a pass interference call. But there's other pass interference calls, too, that it can affect the game. It's just maybe they happen fast. Maybe we don't notice them off the top of the bat. But if you're going to try to make it right, then you have to make every single play right. And I get it. Maybe that slows down the game. Maybe it takes away momentum. But if you're going to be the NFL and go all in on this, then go all in. You just can't pick and choose, well, this was a blatant one, for sure pass interference. I mean, it's like I said, it's up for debate last night whether those calls were pass interference calls or not.
Yeah, but and this is what I'm trying to say, and by the letter of the law, you might be right, and maybe we get to a point where they do start overturning some of it. I believe they told people kind of the way they changed this thing at the owners' meetings and when they went through this. I think the conversation was probably like, hey, we have to avoid something that is so obvious that you lose the integrity of the game. Now, these ticky-tack ones, these ones that we see in slow motion, there's a bump here or there. If we break it down and say, oh, yeah, that probably is, that's fine. But we can't have another one like the Saints and Rams, whether it's a regular season game or whether it's a playoff game. And I think that's why this rule is in place. I can say I think all those plays that were challenged yesterday, I think there were 3 of them, Austin. Mm-hmm. I think they probably should have overturned all 3. I think it was interference on all 3. But I'm just trying to tell you that I don't think they're going to overturn them unless you absolutely just knock the guy over and the ref didn't see it.
But how bad is it, though, when they're deliberating whether it's a pass interference or not? They call to New York, the headquarters, the officiating headquarters, the guys that are running the show, and even the guys go, oh, yeah, that play should have been, overturned. That was definitely pass interference, and it doesn't get overturned. Like, that looks bad on the NFL. That pisses fans off, and rightfully so.
Well, where does the authority lie in that, though? Does it lie with the referees on the field? Does it lie with the referees in the booth? Or does it lie with the headquarters guys that they're calling in? Because I agree, if you're calling in the NFL, if you're going to the top of the ladder and the top of the ladder says, yeah, that's a bad play, then there you go. It's been handed down from high. But if you're not going to do anything about it, then why bother calling them anyway? Why not check in with two fat guys and some nachos and beer and, get the Consumer Reports version on this, and then let's just go back to the game?
No, that's a great point because obviously, the officials in New York, they don't have any jurisdiction, right? Like the people calling the plays, the people calling the fouls, it happens on the field and that's it. End of story. So I actually kind of agree with Scott a little bit here. Where what's the point in calling New York to get that that ref's perspective if they're not even going to agree with him?
Yeah, I think now they've opened this can of worms. This is probably why they shouldn't have had the rule in the first place. If they were just going to use it for egregious fouls, and that's what they're going to overturn. If you're not going to overturn them all. And maybe we get to that stage next year. Maybe that's an evolution of this rule. Because, again, I saw guys throw a challenge flag, and I think they were probably right. But I also knew at the same time I didn't have one bit of my body that thought they were going to overturn it. Because I just don't think it's the nature of why they put this rule in place. And right now I think most of the officials are living up to that. Let's just not make Rams Saints happen again. Hey, more about it, more on the NFL coming up in a bit. But next, stay in your lane with Austin Lane. A little early in the show today because we cut off our show early for our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week. Nice at Mandarin. We'll have it for you at 6 o'clock on ESPN 690, including the Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show starts at 5:45. Hang with us on ESPN 690. Your thoughts always invited. Star 690 or 904-362-9901. What do you think about the pass interference rule? What do you think about the rest of the NFL as we head into Week 4? We're open to talk about it, but we're not changing our minds. Next on ESPN 690.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. You hear us daily on ESPN 690 from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Make sure to catch Action Sports Jacks primetime every Saturday and Sunday all year long. 10:30 on Fox 30 and 11:30 on CBS 47. Action Sports Jacks primetime on Saturdays and Sundays the entire year. And always make sure to tune in from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. with Austin Lane and me on ESPN 690.
Simply Safe is award-winning wireless home security with 24/7 professional monitoring for just $15 a month. Go to simplysafe.com/prepare for free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker Sports.
Follow the wave to Atlantic Infinity during this summer's sales event.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
The only one for a luxurious showroom.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
The only one with a stress-free buying experience.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
The only one fast, dependable service.
Follow the wave to the only one Atlantic Infinity.
Don't miss the summer sales event happening now at Atlantic Infinity, 10980 Atlantic Boulevard.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here from Golick & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jackson. It's clear Northeast Florida has great taste in radio. I mean, you're listening to me every morning, right? Join the ESPN 690 team and get your business notice today. The First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get your business in front of them. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with a licensed local expert with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 105-7788.
Golic and Wingo.
I don't know if I've ever felt worse for a kid in the league than Josh Rosen, right? It's like deja vu for him. He's going through this all again. We may never know what Josh Rosen could or could not have been because of the two situations he's found himself.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Welcome back to ESPN 690 here. Brent had to step out real quick, so I'm going to take over. Do stay in your lane. Going to do a little early today as we're going to leave the show early since we have our Friday night action to cover tonight as well. So stay in your lane real quick. Since we've been kind of caught up in the Jalen Ramsey saga and the Jacksonville Jaguars saga, I haven't really had a chance to talk any fighting at all. So I figure this is a good time to talk that. So Cruise Control is going to be UFC Copenhagen taking place this weekend at a 2 o'clock start time for the main card from Copenhagen, Denmark. Pretty cool fight venue and one of my favorite brands of chew. Little fun fact, Copenhagen. Shout out to Copenhagen Straight Long Cut, not just Copenhagen Long Cut. Got to be straight long cut. Copenhagen, cut the check. But for the main card, we're talking about the main event. Jack Hermansson, who I'm a huge fan of. Guy fought up out of Sweden, now trains in Norway. He's your typical Norwegian/Scandinavian fighter, super intense dude. He's got that Viking blood coursing through his veins, but surprisingly, he's going to look for the knockout, but also really good on the ground as well. Specializes in rear naked chokes and things of that nature. So he's really a well-versed fighter, taking on Jared Cannonier. And the cool thing about Jared Cannonier, actually started as a heavyweight, fought out of Alaska of all places, got to the UFC as a heavyweight, cut down a little bit, cut down to 205, and now actually fights at 185. He still has the KO power. He's definitely more of a stand-up fighter, so it's interesting to see what Jack Hermansson's going to do, if he wants to stand and bang or if he takes him down. The other fight I'm going to keep an eye on for UFC Copenhagen is it's kind of down the list a little bit, but it's one of my favorite fighters by the name of Gunnar Nelson. Now, Gunnar Nelson trains with Conor McGregor, but you never know it because Gunnar Nelson is the most humble and quiet guy of all time. Gunnar Nelson maybe says 1 to 2 words per interview. He's almost like a serial killer. He kind of gives that vibe a little bit.
But he's been around for a minute too, hasn't he?
He has been around for a while, but he's a super nice dude, man. Fighting out of Iceland. He's fighting Gilbert Burns, so keep an eye on him. And also a fun fact about Gunnar Nelson, one of the only guys in the UFC that doesn't tape his hands when he's in the cage. Usually guys tape their fists and their wrists and everything like that. Gunnar Nelson does not do that because he hates the feel of it. Very ballsy. I feel like that's a good way to break your hand, but hey, props to Gunnar Nelson. You're from Iceland. I'm not gonna fault you for that. And quick, another big thing taking place in the fighting world, more specifically in boxing. We got Earl Spence fighting Sean Porter for the welterweight unification bout. Earl Spence, 25-0, one of the biggest names in boxing, taking on Sean Porter, 32-1. Sean Porter's the guy that comes at you. He's the brawler. He's the mauler. Earl Spence, more of the traditional boxer, stays long. So you have a clash of styles. Anytime that happens, it's going to be a good match. So check that out as well. That'll be on pay-per-view this Saturday. I think we're going to cut the break real quick. When we come back, I will have my Pump Your Brakes segment, and what is a hockey player eating on the bench? We shall find out. You won't believe it. Stay tuned, ESPN 690.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jax. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates. And you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
Shop the 904.
This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community.
Locally owned and operated businesses give our community character by offering unique options for shopping and dining.
They are a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group.
Hey, it's Trey Wingo from Golic and Wingo, and you're listening to ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Eagles corner Avonte Maddox and Packers running back Jamal Williams are both out of the hospital after taking big hits during last night's game in Green Bay. Williams got hit by Derek Barnett of the Eagles on the first play. Maddox was hit in the head late in the game by teammate Andrew Sendejo. Both have movement in their extremities. The Eagles won the game thanks to 2 goal line stands in the fourth quarter. Coach Doug Peterson.
Hopefully it gives us momentum. You know, it gives us a little shot in the arm now. We get some time off to get these guys healthy, and we got a home game coming up. But couldn't be more proud of the guys.
One other note from that game, having a career night, Packers wideout Devontae Adams had to leave with turf toe on his right foot. Adams caught 10 passes for a career-high 180 yards, and he missed most of the fourth quarter. The Jaguars haven't ruled out cornerback Jalen Ramsey for Sunday's game against the Broncos. After becoming a father for the second time, Ramsey still says he wants to be traded. And UFC President Dana White confirms today he has released 40-year-old lightweight BJ Penn.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, with no limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cash Back Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
All righty, welcome back here. Mandarin High School, the place for me today for our Action Sports Jacks game of the week on ESPN 690. Nice against Mandarin. Of course, we'll see Carson Beck, the Georgia commit, and the defending state champs are the Mandarin Mustangs. A little bit tougher sledding this year for the Mustangs as they lost some of their talent from last year. That's what happens after winning the state title, and now you got to try to get it back, and they've got a big target on their backs too. Nice is a fun offense to watch. This could be a high-scoring affair. We'll get a look at this one coming up at 6 o'clock on ESPN 690. Of course, you can watch the video of it on Facebook and YouTube, right here on Twitter as well. So tell all your friends about it if you know anybody at Nice and Mandarin. Moms and dads, grandparents, friends, all that, relatives across the country can really watch them play tonight on all our social media platforms, just like you can watch the show all across the country and really all across the globe. We are worldwide, just like ESPN says, Austin Lane.
Yes, we are. Absolutely. And do you mind, I'm not sure if you heard my last segment, but I haven't finished up Pump Your Brakes and actually have a trivia question for you that revolves around it.
No, go ahead. I didn't know I had a couple of minutes off. See what I went and did? I had to go change his shirt. I'm on shirt number 2.
Okay. It's that hot outside, huh?
It's that hot in here. It's actually maybe more comfortable outside.
Fair enough, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, quick. So pump your brakes. And Brent, feel free to play along here. If I say the name Mark Lalestu, Does that do anything for you? It probably shouldn't, to be honest.
Cool, let's do. No, it doesn't.
Okay, so he is a hockey player from the Winnipeg Jets. And, athletes kind of have their own quirks, their own little things that they like to eat on the sidelines, like Marshawn Lynch had Skittles. So Mark Lewestu, being a hockey player, kind of being a hockey player who's a little bit out there, take a guess what this dude was caught eating on the bench during a preseason game. And I guess what's like his go-to snack when he's playing hockey?
Let's see. Playing hockey, go-to snack.
I'll give you a little hint here.
Lucky Charms.
No, I'm going to give you a little hint. He doesn't eat it. It's more of a sucks it down, we'll just say.
Well, it'll be a shake of some kind. A Frosty.
No.
Is this you going after your Wendy's endorsement again?
No, it's not. It's not at all. I don't think Wendy's even has this condiment. They might.
Ramsey figured you out.
So Mark Lewestu has been spotted eating mustard packets, sucking on mustard packets during hockey games. No one knows why yet. I'm awaiting the interview to ask him why the heck he's eating mustard packets. But yeah, pump your brakes, Mark Lewestu.
How about that? There's pickle juice is a big thing now, right?
Yep, for cramps, exactly.
I don't know if there's something about mustard.
So my only theory, Brent, and I've heard this before, if you eat spicy foods, like if you get, say you have like a cramp or you're fatigued, if you eat spicy foods, that's actually supposed to help with cramping and inflammation. But I kind of dove deep into this whole thing, and it's not spicy mustard. It's just regular, run-of-the-mill yellow mustard. So not sure why he's eating it. Yeah, I will have the update for you probably next week.
Is that the trivia question, or is there another one?
No, that was a trivia question.
Okay.
That was pump your brakes.
I was kind of hoping for something more sports related.
Sorry. Well, I don't know. It's a hockey player eating something on the bench, Brent. How much more sports related do you want, man?
Hey, what's the most random thing that you like to eat?
Oh, jeez. The most random thing.
And easy now, family radio show.
Yeah.
Is there something about like for your training or something like that people be like gross or?
Nothing that's sticking out to me. I'm a sucker for tortilla chips, so I think we've been over this before. Dude, if give me a big bag of tortilla chips and salsa, and I will knock that whole bag out.
I do it. I eat it every day. I'm like every day I have chips and salsa. I tweeted that like a couple of weeks ago, and it's true.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like low on sodium or what the deal is, man, but I cannot get enough of tortilla chips.
If you left me on this earth and just had chips and salsa, like I don't even need the queso. Like queso's good and all, but the guacamole's fine. But but I don't need it.
Yeah.
I really like the chips and salsa and a ton of it. The other thing that I did tweet most recently, which I eat a lot of. Right now we're out of it. I got to go back to Costco or something and get it. But is the fruit snacks. I'm a huge fruit snack guy.
Yeah, you are a fruit snack guy, man. It's a little weird, but it's all good.
I like I'm not a dessert person.
Yeah.
But I like the, whether it's gummy bears or gummy worms or like, that kind of texture, I guess, to it. So the fruit snacks kind of fit.
Yeah.
But they feel like because the kids can eat them that it feels like it's a little healthier than all that other stuff, even though it's really not.
Let's be honest. They couldn't be any more unhealthy for you. But, yeah, just keep telling yourself that, man. It's all good.
But there's only like 8 in a pack. So
yeah, that's a good point.
That's by the way, how's Ronan doing today?
Still sick. Didn't go to school for the whole week. So
I mean, what the heck? Like, I don't want to call the young man out, but
I
mean, because I hope he gets better.
Yeah.
But
I believe the diagnosis is Ramsey-itis.
I know, man. Like this is straight out of the Ramsey book, right? Yeah, still had a fever last night. He had a cough this morning. We took him to get some medicine, so that's going well. So hopefully this weekend, it'll be out of his system. And so my wife was getting sick too. She's feeling better as well. So
all right. Well,
thank you for asking.
No problem. I mean, I got to get the little man up to speed. We got to get him to the fire station sooner
Absolutely,
or later.
For sure. He's all about it.
I like that idea. We're going to do that.
Yeah.
All right, here's the deal, man. Did Jalen Ramsey's latest words in the podcast, when he said it again last night, it came out yesterday, did that indicate to you that, okay, here we are 10 days later and this is still a thing, and almost to the point where Jalen, who says, hey, it's not really about the money, it's about happiness, say, the only way this is getting resolved is if I'm out of here? Did that hit home with you at all? Was it just another, I've heard that before? How did you interpret what he said yesterday?
What I interpreted was kind of how I interpret my life right now, and that's, I'm going to have my happiness over anything. And that includes money, and I get it. People want to poke fun at that and say, oh, that's the selfish thing to say, or, is Jalen Ramsey smoking something? You hear all that stuff, and it's like, dude, if you have a chance to be happy and still make money, I think anybody would choose that. So, yeah, that shows that Jalen Ramsey isn't happy here in Jacksonville. And kind of like I've been saying the past 2 to 3 weeks now, it's not about the money. He's going to make his money wherever he goes. He's that good of a player. He knows that. His agent knows that. And I'm sure the Jacksonville Jaguars know that. I think what it comes down to is the environment that's been created in that stadium. And we know that Doug Marrone's not the problem. We know that, for all things considered, I don't think Dave Caldwell's really that big of a problem. It all revolves around Tom Coughlin, and it goes down from there. So, yeah, and I think if he has the opportunity to play somewhere else with a better culture, he's going to absolutely take that, because it's like he said, his happiness comes first, and I'm sure he takes his family into account when he's making that decision as well. So if that's the case, it is what it is. So either, they can try to change it with Coughlin there, they can get rid of Coughlin, or else they have to say goodbye to Jalen.
Yeah, here's the deal, man, too, on this, and I would hesitate to go all the way back and revisit everything we've said about it. But I do say, if you like playing with your teammates and you're hanging with your teammates all the time, and actually there's a respect for your coach, which now many people believe there is, and that whole thing for the first 48 hours of this mess was really less about Doug Marrone than kind of indicated and that we were talking about for so long. Well, if you have all that, who cares about the guy down the hallway? Should we? Should he?
All right, well, that's like saying this. If I was to go to a school and go to a classroom, say all my friends are in that classroom, but the teacher there, man, it's just a bad vibe. Like, I don't like the teacher at all. If I had an option to get rid of the teacher or go to a different class, I'd see my friends again. I'd see my friends at lunchtime, or I'd see my friends in the summer, whatever it would be. But I have to deal with that teacher every single day. And if I walk in that classroom and, yeah, cool, all my friends are there, but the teacher's running the show. And the teacher makes me uncomfortable. And if I'm, kind of feeling defeated, feeling dejected every single time I walk in that classroom because that teacher's there, and if I have the opportunity to go to a different class with a better teacher, a cooler teacher, well, guess what I'm going to do? I love my friends to death, but I don't want to be nervous every single day. I don't want to be miserable every single day that I walk in that classroom. And you can apply the same thing to Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, he wants to be there for his teammates. Yeah, I think he enjoys, and we saw that against the Titans. He was cheering and everything. He was supporting his players as he should. That's a good teammate, and that's what he said he's trying to be the whole time. But at the end of the day, if you're not happy, it doesn't matter, how good of friends you have in that team. If your headspace isn't where it needs to be, number one, that only affects you, but eventually it's going to affect your teammates, and it's going to affect your performance on the field. And that's the last thing Jalen Ramsey wants for his teammates. It's the last thing he wants for the organization. And I think his teammates respect him enough that they don't want that either.
I think, though, your analogy's off a little bit, because
hit me with
it's not you gave the teacher analogy. In this situation, it's not the teacher. The teacher is Doug Marrone. In this situation, Tom Coughlin is the principal. So how often is my point? My point is, how often do you rub shoulders with the principal of the school?
But who establishes the culture in the classroom? The teacher.
Is he the principal, or is he the dean of boys? In which case, you keep getting referred back to his office. Maybe that's a little personal information there, but.
Well, but that's fair. Because I think the principal in this situation may be butting in or at least taking over too much. I think that's a fair argument, or a curiosity, maybe too much for Jalen's liking. I just feel like, I guess the question in this thing has been, okay, there's been interaction here between Coughlin and Ramsey that he doesn't like. And, we're missing one part of this. And all this stuff that we've talked about, and we brought it up very briefly, Austin. But if you go back now and look at the timeline of everything, from last Sunday is Doug Marrone and the outburst on the sideline, and then obviously something happened with Tom Coughlin right after that game, and he didn't like it. And we've heard things that, hey, Tom Coughlin wanted to discipline him or was thinking about discipline him, or, it never happened. Jalen said he wasn't surprised at all he wasn't disciplined when he had that press conference. we also think, and you did a great job of this way early, of going back to the OTAs and the 100% commitment comment. But there's one element I think we're missing here, and we really don't know how it all transpired, but that's last August, last training camp, when he has the outburst with the media and he gets suspended for a week from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And what I continue to maintain in that is, okay, he got suspended for the week. But think about the absurdity of it, really, because even at the time, if it was just that incident, he got suspended for yelling at the media? Like, has that ever happened to the NFL? You know? So, like, again, this is your best player who obviously thinks respect is a big thing and thinks he's the best player, so he should have a certain amount of respect. Call that entitlement, call that whatever you want, today's athlete, but he obviously feels like he should, and he doesn't get any. In fact, in his view, he's probably saying, hey, they picked the media over me on this one. But, see, I think it's bigger than that. I think there was more to lead up to that. Whatever that was, I don't know. And I haven't even heard things, to be quite honest with you. But I do believe if you go all the way back to last August when he was suspended for a week because of that kind of run-in, yelling off the field at the media, I do think there was probably something that led up to that, and that was the tipping point for the Jags, Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, to suspend him for that week during camp. And that's one we really don't bring up in all the grand scheme of everything that's happened with the front office versus Jalen Ramsey. But I do think that probably, if we're looking at where this all started, it may have started back in August of 2018.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's a very good point. It's kind of a telling thing for sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, like we talked about, maybe it's been snowballing, and it finally got to the point where the cup runneth over in Houston, you know, over a challenge call, basically. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess you're to the point of no return, you know, and I get what you're saying, Brent, where you're saying how, yeah, you know, he is the star player, so you can call it entitlement, you can call it, you know, selfishness because he's demanding all these things or he wants what's better for himself. But we have to remember, yes, he is the star player. He's the best player on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's probably one of the best corners in the entire NFL. That's all fact, okay? I mean, yeah, Calais Campbell's a hell of a player too, and maybe you can put him up there, but Jalen Ramsey's the best player on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
But, and I'm trying to explain this. Okay, so think of like an NFL team, like in a locker room. You know, there's going to be cliques, right? Like, sure, you have the O linemen who hang out together, maybe the D linemen hang out together, and yes, they interact. You know, it's like a high school. We're going back to the high school analogy or the school analogy. But yes, they all interact. They all get along. You know, they go against each other on the practice field and stuff like that. But to think that Jalen Ramsey's just on this vendetta by himself, just to think that Jalen Ramsey only thinks this way and nobody else in that locker room shares his opinions, shares his views, is, you know, you have to be almost delusional to think that way, because Jalen Ramsey's in the power spot. He's the best player, so he can speak out. But how much you want to make a bet? There's other players that are texting him like, man, thanks for speaking out, because, yes, things maybe are a little messed up here in Jacksonville. You know, maybe the front office is a little messed up. Like, it's not just Jalen Ramsey that has the problem, because if that was the case, then players would speak out against him. It'd be like, yeah, I don't know what Jalen Ramsey's deal is. I mean, everything's cool here. But no one's ever defended the front office part, right? Like, we've never heard a player come out and defend it. And I get what you're going to say, like, well, yeah, obviously, you can always have your teammates back. For sure. But at the same time, you got to remember, man, like, in terms of the NFL, there is a hierarchy. Yes, there's the captains, there's the star players, and then there's the followers. And guys follow Jalen Ramsey. And whether you agree with it or not, that's just the fact. And the fact that if Jalen Ramsey's upset with what's going on right now in the locker room with the culture of the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's other guys in that locker room that are going to be upset too. So if you get rid of the problem that's complaining, saying how he doesn't want to be here, so be it. But what's to say that when you get rid of Jalen Ramsey, another guy doesn't step forward and say, you know what, it's really not that great here.
Yeah, I think it's well said, man. I think it's a good reminder of this isn't just a Jalen Ramsey versus the building kind of thing. But it does appear like that from the outside. And I think we have to be careful of that. And that's a very good reminder to that. And to your point, yes, even if there are people that kind of roll their eyes, and trust me, in that locker room, I think there are also people that are rolling their eyes at Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
Why? Not necessarily because they disagree with him. I think because they more might agree with me. And the timing is really right now. Do we have to do this right now? Even in August is okay, but in week 2 and 3 and 4 when we're trying to find ourselves, I don't think that's the best timing. I believe there are probably some folks in that locker room that are rolling their eyes at it. But to your point, they're not going to sit up there in front of a microphone and say, hey, Tom Coughlin, the brass, I mean, we love him. I don't know what Jalen's talking about.
Yeah.
They definitely wouldn't say that. And I think it's an important reminder that you're probably right. I think a lot of people, or more people than we want to believe, or that are being perceived, agree with Jalen inside that building. Fascinating to see where it ends up. I don't know if he pushed the story forward at all with yesterday's podcast information, but I still believe, and I tweeted this last night, that, and here we go back to the distraction word, and I just think if you're telling me that you don't want to be a distraction, then just stay quiet, man. Just go tend to the little one and be there for the birth of your child. This isn't helping the locker room at all, and your head coach and everybody else, that we all have to continue to talk about the latest thing that you said. So I think he's a little bit hypocritical there from last Tuesday to saying, I don't want to be a distraction, to now 2 weeks in a row on a Thursday, a podcast dropping where there's more and more information coming out.
I get that point, but at the same time, would you rather have Jalen Ramsey and come out and explain what exactly is happening, or would you rather have some quote-unquote source come out and maybe say the wrong thing, and then we're talking about it? Or would we just come out and say, listen, we haven't heard from Jalen Ramsey in a while. I bet this is what's going on. Like, I understand you don't want Jalen Ramsey to be a distraction, and, when he says he doesn't want to be a distraction, that goes on a podcast, that may come across the wrong way. But at the same time, to hear it from the horse's mouth, to hear it from the guy who's going through it, and to explain, to be very transparent of, this is what I'm upset about, this is why I don't want to be here, this is what I want. I would rather have that, especially as a teammate in the locker room, as opposed to a guy who is just sending out cryptic, Twitter messages that you don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
Well, but Austin, here's the deal. This is not what I want. What I want, I'd love Jalen to come on the show and talk. So let's just say that. I mean, I have no problem with him talking.
Yeah.
This is fine. This fine for me. Selfishly, Jalen, talk all you want. That's fine. But I'm saying, from a guy had said to us last week when asked the question, I don't want to be a distraction, I'm thinking of my teammates. Well, the more you talk, the more those guys have to answer questions, the more your head coach has to stand up there on the podium and answer questions about you saying whatever you're saying. So it becomes a public battle. See, in my opinion, we were going to come in here today and not really talk about Jalen Ramsey, other than, hey, congratulations, he had the baby, and now we'll see if he's available on Sunday. Well, he opened the door again to talk about what we just talked about for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
But what's been more of the distraction? Him going on a podcast and reiterating a point that he made a couple weeks ago, or the fact that he had to leave the team to go tend to a baby that was being born? Like, I feel like the baby being born was a lot more of a distraction, and he didn't even, he was just being a dad. He was being a soon-to-be dad, and he left the team. It was the media that took it with the whirlwind, saying, oh, well, is this actually what's going on, or is there something more to it?
I think it was initially, I guess, on Wednesday, like the Monday thing, the Wednesday injuries, the Wednesday night leaving, all that. But then nobody was questioning anything. I mean, again, like we talked about yesterday, you really don't question the fact the guy's going home to be with for the birth of his daughter. So, but now, because this thing dropped, I can now ask you again, how's this thing going to end up? Where I probably wouldn't have talked about that again until maybe Monday or Tuesday, until the next piece of information came out, or whether he played or not.
Yeah,
but the more you talk, the more he stays in the news cycle with things that he says. And by the way, that was all over the news last night, what he said in that podcast. That was all over the country, ESPN, everywhere else, again. So the more he makes the national headlines, the more he becomes, well, a conversation point on every little thing he says. I don't think everybody across the country last night and today would be talking about Jalen Ramsey if he was just home to see his daughter be born.
I understand that point, but let's be honest here. From that podcast that took place, I think it was, I think it dropped last night or whatever it was, we didn't learn anything new. We already knew what we already knew. We know Jalen Ramsey doesn't like Tom Coughlin. We know that the culture, he doesn't like coming to the stadium, and he didn't really reveal anything new. I think the bigger news is the fact that maybe he plays on Sunday, as Nate Burleson was tweeting. I understand, he went back on the podcast and he kind of reiterated his points, but he didn't say anything new. It wasn't like, you know what? I don't like Tom Coughlin, and I also don't like so-and-so. We didn't learn anything new.
By the way, it would probably be Brent next.
Yeah, there you go. He only reiterated the point. Now, what the media does with that, they can do with that. But I saw the headlines, and I took the tweet. I'm like, yeah, but of course. We've been talking about this for how long now? He doesn't like Tom Coughlin, doesn't like the culture, doesn't like coming to work every single day. That's nothing new.
Yeah, nothing new other than this, Austin, because it's a 10-day update, essentially. The update is he still feels the same way. And the second part of that, where I do think it was a little bit new, and he didn't say this last Tuesday during his press conference, is he basically feels like there's irreparable harm done, and you can't repair it. And so it's going to end at some point because you have to part ways. That's what he said. And so I thought that part was but my point is, over a 10, 11-day span of not really learning anything new on the trade front, what we did learn is nothing's changed on the trade front. And in these kind of scenarios, the fact that nothing changed over an almost 2-week span kind of is news because there's no ground being made.
I guess, but I guess we can go back and forth, I felt like if something did change, well, then maybe Jalen would have said, you know what, I'm going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar this year. Or maybe his agent would have said something. I'm kind of always under the assumption that the Jaguars are waiting for the best possible offer. Tom Coughlin's still there, so I don't see it changing, and I'm not sure, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, whether or not Tom Coughlin and Jalen Ramsey had any dialogue whatsoever. I think there was a report saying they had a little bit of a meeting, but what does that mean? So but of course, unless all of a sudden there's breaking news where Doug Marrone says, Jalen and Tom, they hashed it out and we're all good to go for the rest of the season. There's nothing really that can be reported that's not going to change my mind that Jalen Ramsey wants out unless, number one, Tom Coughlin gets fired or, he just gets released, or number two, somebody in that front office comes out and says, they're on good terms right now. Neither have happened, so I can only assume that Jalen Ramsey still wants out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, or if there's a trade.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I guess, I understand your point. I think there may be a little bit of semantics to it, but welcome to our business, Austin Lane.
No, I get it, man. I absolutely get it. Hey, it's all about the likes. It's all about the clicks. It's all about the headlines. I'm learning that firsthand.
It is, and Jalen Ramsey's helping that along, I guess was my point of the whole story, really. He's helping it because he's still talking.
I completely agree.
I'm not going to hate him for it. I'm just saying it does cause more fodder. Hey, when we come back, let's do some balling and falling. And is John Bachman back there?
John Bachman is not back here yet, no.
He's probably off. He takes Fridays off.
Do you want me to put out the bat signal for him or not?
No, it's fine.
Put out an Iowa helmet or something like that? He'll come running?
Probably just taking a Friday off.
Okay. Well, we're still here.
All right, let's do some balling and falling when we come back on ESPN 690. Plus some NFL talk coming up on the way here on a Friday.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Another hot day today under partly sunny skies with highs between 90 and 95. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm JV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Are you looking for the best wings around? I found the place. Listen up. Hey, everyone. It's Brent Martineau. Mr. Chubby's Wings is awesome. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. They are a part of the community, too. Mr. Chubby's Wings wants to wish all of the high school teams good luck this fall. They've been supporting youth athletics for a decade. Get ready for the game at Mr. Chubby's. Celebrate the big win at Mr. Chubby's. Chub it up with the best wings around. Mr. Chubby's Wings on the West Side and in Fleming Island.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anna John Levine. Car accidents can turn your life upside down. Your car is damaged, you're in pain, injuries can even create problems at work. While there's no magic wand, our team is ready to get you back on your feet as soon as possible. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation. That's 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
So guys, how many of you are guilty of using your wife or your girlfriend's shampoo in the shower? Quite a few, I imagine. Have you considered the importance of using a product designed for your hair? Yes, men's hair. After all, your hair is different. Dove Men Plus Care has created a hair care range designed to fortify men's hair and give it the care it needs to stay strong and healthy. Do your family and your hair a favor and get your own products. Dove Men Plus Care for stronger, more resilient hair. Available at Walmart.
Is today the day it'll finally stop raining?
We sure hope so, but it's been a very wet summer so far. This is Mike with Big Fish Roofing. Don't forget, your roof is the first line of defense against the elements. Here at Big Fish Roofing, as an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we are locally owned and we drive our business with quality and integrity. We do not require any down payments until your roof project is complete. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing. We are the roofers you can trust. We are Big Fish Roofing.
During the 2020 model year kickoff event at Honda of the Avenues, pay nothing down except for your tag. Like a new Honda Accord, just $244 a month. Just sign and drive. Happening this month at Honda of the Avenues, the Honda Giant. Lease a 2019 Honda Accord for $244 a month for 36 months. Price includes lease acquisition fee, dealer dock fees, $0 security deposit, title and registration plus tax. With approved credit through HFS. Lessee's responsible for maintenance, excessive wear, and use of 15 cents per mile over 12,000 miles per year and license tag. Valid on in-stock units only. See dealer for details. Offer ends 9/30/2019.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here from Golic and Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jackson. It's clear Northeast Florida has great taste in radio. I mean, you're listening to me every morning, right? Join the ESPN 690 team and get your business notice today. The First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get your business in front of them. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Follow the wave to Atlantic Infinity during this summer's sales event. Ride the wave to Atlantic Infinity. You deserve the wave of luxury that Atlantic Infinity is designed to deliver.
Only one Atlantic Infinity.
Atlantic Infinity at 10980 Atlantic Boulevard or at atlanticinfinity.com.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather, and that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jax. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates. And you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. Star Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by Star. Providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing Star Mobile from your mobile phone. That's Star Mobile.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you have received a letter from the IRS and cannot pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank accounts and garnish your wages. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville and recently voted the best tax attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly readers and selected as an ultimate tax attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only trust an experienced and award-winning tax firm to represent you. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. Online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Clearly, it's because I'm on every morning from 6 till 10 a.m. But this isn't about me. It's about your business. Get your business noticed today. First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get on our team than right now. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
How have binoculars and just the general discomfort that comes with using binoculars, how have we not improved that?
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Feels huge, especially the point of the season that we're at. Going 2-2 is a heck of a lot better than being 1-3. Thursday night game on the road in Lambeau. A lot of things, working against us this week. But to come in here and fight to the end, the defense coming up big at the end, a huge win for us.
That's Carson Wentz after a big win for the Eagles on the road. By the way, my Thursday night theory not going so well. I think
Not
Thursday
at all.
night home teams are 1-3. Thankfully,
Yeah.
the Jags are the 1.
Yeah.
But maybe this road thing isn't a big deal. I feel like it has been a big deal playing on the road on Thursday Night Football, but give credit to the away teams because they're taking care of business. And by the way, it's not like they've been heavily favorites. I mean, that's Philly going there and getting the W. And I don't think it was like, what was that? Green Bay got the win over Chicago in week number 1. Now, that one's a little bit different week number 1 because you hadn't played on Sunday. But still, it's not really working like I always thought it did.
No, absolutely.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau here in Mandarin High School as we have our Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Of course, all the social media platforms and the Friday Night Blitz. That's coming up right here at 6 o'clock on ESPN 690. Kevin Sullivan and I will have the call. Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studio. Scott hanging out with us tonight as well. And we appreciate him and all his work all week long filling in for Coos. Which some people would call an upgrade.
Thank you very much for that.
I mean, that's what it says on my script. I think Austin wrote it.
So
Austin's ghostwriting everything this week.
I didn't write it. I think the public wrote it. Public consensus.
All right. Balling and falling time, man. What you got?
Oh, man. I wish you would have set it up a little bit, but that's okay. I can go to my cell phone right now. So, Ballin', Brent, we talked about Teddy Bridgewater kind of this offseason, right, where was he going to stay in New Orleans? Was he going to become a free agent, travel someplace else, maybe come to Jacksonville? Jacksonville needed a quarterback at the time, and truth be told, I think Teddy Bridgewater kind of did the unheard of thing and chose to be a backup as opposed to being a starter of an NFL franchise. And so far, all things considered, Drew Brees getting hurt, unfortunately. Teddy Bridgewater stepped up, kind of had a rough first game against the Rams, comes out against Seattle in a very obviously tough place to play in Seattle, and for lack of a better word, dominates. And I think I kind of like what he had to say here after the game in the locker room. Check this out.
Hey, man, I just want y'all to do one thing, man. I'm trying not to ball right now, but, man, cherish this moment, man. Cherish these opportunities that we got. Cherish this feeling of winning and just, man, never take it for granted. Hey, I'm so speechless, but, man, I would not have rather been anywhere else than here. Experiencing this right now in this moment with you guys. So, man, I appreciate you guys, man, for accepting me And man, I love y'all, bro.
So there you go, Teddy Bridgewater, balling.
Hey, they say he's an awesome dude too.
Yeah.
And it is really an incredible story. I think because it's come a couple years later since the injury in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gets less attention, but the fact is now he's got this opportunity. He's back at it, and we'll see where it goes, right? I mean, it's much like for New Orleans, probably much like it is here in Jacksonville with Gardner Minshew and in Carolina with Kyle Allen and so many different places around the NFL right now. But he is a guy that you root for. I said this about Kansas City earlier in the year, and they're a team that I think unless you are in the AFC West, it's hard not to like the Kansas City Chiefs. Right, Andy Reid, Mahomes is a cool story. The Chiefs have a nice tradition, not talked about, probably underappreciated. But you don't really hate the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they got good barbecue in Kansas City after all. And don't you feel like New Orleans is a little bit the same way? An easy team to root for. Heck, after last year, it feels like they got screwed over going to the Super Bowl. But Drew Brees has always been a cool guy. Sean Payton mixed a little bit. But whether it was Hurricane Katrina, whether it was just New Orleans in general, because people like going to New Orleans and Bourbon Street, there's something about it that's appealing. And I think a little bit about New Orleans is the fact that they were bad for so long. And now to see them good, win a Super Bowl in the 2000s decade and now with Breeze and be so competitive. I feel like they're a team that's kind of likable, and Teddy Bridgewater fits them.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the ball started rolling after Katrina, and all of a sudden they go to a Super Bowl and they win it, and then they really won that for their city. They won it for the victims and everything like that. So that's where I think the ball started to get rolling a little bit. And then when you have guys like, Drew Brees, who's nothing but a class act, and when you have an exciting offense of like Michael Thomas and you have this alternative guy by the name of Alvin Kamara, people like that stuff. So, yeah, I think that, New Orleans and the city in general, I've been there a couple times and I've had nothing but great memories in New Orleans, at least ones that I can remember for the most part. So I think when you kind of have all that added together, yeah, you have a team that it's hard to root against just because there's so many things working in their favor.
All right, do your fallen, because I can't even capture my ballin that I had written down right now. My phone is acting a little goofy, so go ahead.
Oh, check this out. So I don't know if this is fallen. Not sure if this is the flex of the century. I'll let you be the judge here, Brent. But Elizabeth Cambridge, who is a center of the Las Vegas Aces and then WNBA, showed up to work, showed up for game day in an interesting, let's just call it dress attire, where you think Russell Westbrook is sometimes flexing or kind of making you scratch your head a bit, like what he's wearing. Elizabeth Cambridge came from the top rope with this one. So a little background on her real quick. She did the ESPN The Body issue. And she was featured in that. Obviously she's a WNBA center, so she's tall. She has quite the physique, and that was showcased in the ESPN Body magazine. Very cool. Well, she took one of the cutouts of her, naked, and put it on a T-shirt, and then proceeded to wear the T-shirt to a game, like for the WNBA game. So basically, wearing a T-shirt of yourself naked, showing off your backside. And once again, not sure if that's the flex of the century or if that's fallen or what that is, but very impressive, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, I guess so. You're probably right. I thought you were going to have that ballin', not really fallen, but is that like going to a concert and wearing a T-shirt?
Dude, that would be like
that's like the band wearing their own
like
shirt
the Rolling
on stage.
Stones coming out, and all of a sudden Mick Jagger's got a brand new Rolling Stones T-shirt on. But then, do I hate on that though? Because wrestlers do it all the time. Wrestlers always, like professional wrestlers, they always wear their own merch, obviously, because they're trying to sell it. So I'm not sure, Brent. It's kind of in between of the fallen and flex of the day. I'm not really sure where I fall on it.
I've long said this. It's like, guys like Tiger Woods, it's cool that he wears a TW hat, right?
Yeah.
Name your person. They all have their own brands now. They all wear their own clothing line. Like, I'm waiting for you still, Dome Hats. You promised me one day on a golf course to come up with a logo for my own brand. I still don't have it.
But
now, we do have a brand. We do have our own logo on our hats. Now, the only thing is, Austin, we don't wear them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, speaking of this, I got to share this story.
Hit me with it, yeah.
So, Kaylee wants to go to Jaguars All Access last night.
Okay.
And So, we have to find a way to get her there. Ty's got practice, and Steph can't get her there, and so we're trying to figure out. Well, then she drops off right after the show. She dropped off to the station, and so I took her over. And my kids are strange right now because like when they were like 6 and 7 and 8, like that time when you'd think they would be in awe of the athletes and want to meet the athletes and,
of course,
and go to and get autographs and all those things, they really didn't care so much to do it. But now it feels like they want to be around it a little bit more. So it's kind of odd to me. I mean, it's okay. It's just a little different because they never really cared about it too much before. But anyway, Kaylee wants to go. So she texts me on her way over. She's like, hey, can I use one of your hats for an autograph? Like the one with our logo on it.
Sure.
I'm like, well, sure. I didn't think anything. Yeah, that's fine. I
yeah.
got it. So as we're driving over, I'm like, she's got the hat in her hand. I said, all right, this is going to be a little bit strange. Like, this is going to look like I really wanted you to get the autograph of Josh Allen and Calais Campbell, but I didn't want to ask them to sign my hat.
Yes, exactly.
This is going to be a little weird.
Yeah.
But go for it and see what happens.
This is a cool dad moment is what this turns into.
So did you let her get the autograph then?
So she got the hat. Yeah, I was like, here's that. She said I had nothing else at home to sign, so I just wanted to see if we could use that. I was like, all right, fine. And she's had Calais Campbell's autograph and before, so she didn't ask him for another. She did want to get a picture with Calais because the last time she did, she was like a foot shorter.
Okay, yeah,
and so,
yeah.
He's so big, and
of course.
He's kind of like our human measuring stick. So anyway, she wanted to get a picture, and she did get. Josh was there were a lot of people there last night at Mellow Mushroom Avenue. Great crowd.
Cool.
And so Josh stopped and signed, and he signed the hat. And I don't know if he signed it so quick that he never really looked at it.
Yeah.
But he didn't make a comment about it.
Okay,
yet.
good. Good. Yeah. Because don't forget, Brent, I'm on that hat as well, and I don't want to come across as bad either. Yeah. So this involves me as well.
Well, that's where I was going with this. Is if he did ask, I said, well, Austin really wanted it.
Hey, no. Don't throw me underneath the bus, man. Don't do that now.
So we haven't even signed our own hat, but Kaylee's got Josh Allen's autograph on our hat.
Fantastic, man.
All right?
Fantastic.
So, there we go. All right, here's my bone and phone. I finally found it. My phone is acting crazy today. But, sometimes you think there isn't a West Coast bias. Well, there certainly is because last night in Seattle, very cool moment. If you stayed up or you saw it this morning, King Felix Hernandez, he had some sensational years, like unhittable at times. I didn't realize how much they loved him out there until I saw what happened last night in what could be his final game, probably is his final game in Seattle. And he pitched pretty well. He didn't win the game. But did you see that scene?
I did see the scene, man. And, I'm the same way, right? Like, as a kid, the Seattle Mariners, they were the team. Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Randy Johnson, Joey Cora, Jay Buhner. I was a little bit of a fan. Joey Cora's stance, still my favorite stance of all time in all of baseball. So aggressive, so ridiculous. I tried to mimic it, almost pulled a hamstring. So, like, from that perspective, the Mariners were the team for a while. Well, then what happens, Brent? They all go away. And people kind of forget about the Mariners a little bit. And then you have a guy like, King Felix now who goes underneath the radar, he can get the Mike Trout effect, the West Coast bias, whatever you want to call it. And I don't want to say, I'm almost, ashamed. I didn't know, how legit the guy was. I think I remember he threw, a no-hitter, a perfect game one time. But that's it, man. That's all I know about Felix Hernandez. And, I follow baseball pretty closely. And to see that kind of reaction, to see him kind of get emotional a little bit. They said there's no crying in baseball. Well, I think we'll make an exception for that night. It was a really cool scene overall.
I'm a sucker for those moments in sports, man. Especially when there's a relationship like that with the crowd and sports figure.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to kind of see it. Kind of play out in front of us, and they understand it, and they get it, and they know it might be a finality to it, whether it's Derek Jeter, Cal Ripken, Felix Hernandez. I thought it was a really cool thing, and shame on me, and probably shame on a lot of us for not really realizing and kind of just saying how good he has been to that city, to that organization.
Of course.
In a day and age where we don't talk about loyalty and that connection with fans and players in one organization as much as we used to do. So definitely balling there for King Felix. And my fallen, and I don't know how you feel about this, man. Did you see the 200 strikeout controversy last night in baseball where Texas Rangers allowed the ball to drop
the whole
and
pop
then they
fly
get the
thing.
strikeout?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? I'll say I tweeted this. I said, just play the damn game. Let the numbers take care of itself.
I like that.
Minor's a nice story. The pitcher there is a nice story. It's a comeback story, all this stuff. And some people are trying to tell me that 200 is big difference between 199. Listen, I'm a huge baseball guy. I understand the numbers of baseball. But I really don't believe 199 to 200 is that big of a deal. I mean, I don't. I unless I've missed something. Going from 49 home runs to 50 home runs, going from 299 to 300 strikeouts, going from 99 RBIs to 100 RBIs, those are big numbers. 199 to 200, I don't feel like I've ever talked about this until today in my life. And that's okay if you disagree with that, and it's fine. It's okay stance. I don't like when we're manufacturing numbers, and in a game that numbers do matter so much. If they matter so much, then don't manufacture them.
Yeah, so just so I know I'm getting this thing right, because I'm pretty sure I saw the highlight. So he was going for number 200, a pop fly. The player basically lets the ball fly out of bounds, even though he could have made an easy catch. Or I'm sorry,
Foul.
So foul out of bounds. Hello. So it was a foul ball, and then the very next play strikes the guy out 200. Yeah. First of all, what was your reaction when you tweeted that? Did people agree with you or people hate on it?
No, it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
But again, I respect the other side of it. I'm fine if you like the numbers and you're okay. There are two teams that are out of the mix in baseball. It's not like it cost anybody anything. To me, the only time you intentionally drop a foul ball is if it's going to be a tying or winning run down the left field line and you're not going to throw a guy out. That's the only time, and a guy's tagging up. That's the only time you do that. I just didn't like it.
No, and you know what? I share your opinion as well. I mean, it would be like, and I remember seeing Ricky Davis, I think, for the Cleveland Cavaliers way back in the day, was going for a triple-double, needed one more rebound, so catches the rebound off the backboard, and then threw it off the backboard again to try to generate that other rebound for his triple-double. And listen, I understand when you go back in the history books, it's going to say 200 strikeouts and that's it. And that's great. Fantastic. Congratulations. But at the same time, if you're that pitcher, I mean, there may not be an asterisk next to that, but it's kind of the same thing with Strahan where, Strahan's got the sack record, but you know how you got there, know? Yeah. I mean, we may celebrate it and we may say, it's it's a great accomplishment. But Strahan, when you're in Good Morning America, thinking about the good old days, you know what happened. Brett Favre set it up.
And you're right, Austin. There's a big part of it, too. It's it's in the record books. And so in 20 years and 30 years and 50 years and whatever years, you're going to say sacks by Strahan and he holds the record. And nobody's going to ask why, right?
Yeah.
Or 200 strikeouts for Mike Minor and nobody's going to ask why or how. But I do think they ask why or how in this situation because they're so public and so notarized at how they got there that
True.
I do think that's the footnote to them. Most records they don't ask. Most of the time it is like, hey, I shot an 84 today, and don't ask me what tees I played unless you're John Bachman. But sometimes if there's a big story to tell around that score, around that record, well, that record that story follows the record too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that will be the case. I mean, people aren't looking up Mike Minor's 200 strikeout, 50 years from now. They are looking up Strahan's sack total.
Sure.
But I just don't love it. I feel like I was a little bit potentially old last night tweeting that out. But
no,
again, there are some
with
things
you,
about
man.
sports, I think, the traditional part, the integrity part, it's not supposed to be about numbers, individual accolades, all those things. And I hope I'm not being hypocritical and have said otherwise in the past. I don't feel like I have been. But I didn't love that. Just didn't love that one on face value.
Yeah,
when we come back, let's do a little Minshew Mania before the top of the hour. Then we'll hear from Josh Allen and Calais Campbell. They had an interesting conversation on our Jaguars All Access overtime last night. That wasn't on the TV side, so I want to share that with you as well. All on the way here on a Friday, including our pick segment coming up at 5:15. And we'll pick some college and NFL games. We're live at Mandarin High School. Game of the week on ESPN 690. It's Nice and Mandarin coming up in just a little bit. 6 o'clock kickoff tonight here in Duval County. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family-owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations, or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
Our partners at BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country, would like to thank all of the coaches out there who truly are the heart of the game. While BSN Sports is the best at equipping athletes with a one-stop shop for everything needed to run an athletic program, coaches are the best at equipping lives. And that's the real final score. Learn more about how BSN Sports can save you time off the field so you can impact more lives on it by calling your local BSN Sports sales professional or by visiting bsnsports.com today.
What's the fastest way to get behind the wheel of a 2020 Toyota? Toyota Rent-A-Car from my friends over at Arlington Toyota. The 2020 models are now arriving at Arlington Toyota, and Toyota Rent-A-Car is the best way to try it before you buy it. Got a road trip coming up, a long weekend with the girls, or a football getaway maybe? Toyota Rent-A-Car at Arlington Toyota's got you covered with an amazing selection of 2020 Toyotas that are road and rental ready. Everything about renting a Toyota from Arlington Toyota is easy. They've got amazing 2020 models, simple online reservations, and staff that's always eager to help. Gotta tell you, the hardest part's gonna be when it's time to turn your rental back in. These 2020s are sweet. Toyota Rent-A-Car from Arlington Toyota is ready to put you behind the wheel of a 2020 Toyota for your next adventure. Just visit arlingtontoyota.com. That's arlingtontoyota.com and get your online reservation started today.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Codan is now Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony.
Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription?
Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor first to see if it's a qualifying condition and if medical marijuana is even right for you.
I will, thanks.
Golick and Wingo.
I think my jersey was one of the top-selling jerseys around the world, and I didn't make $1 from it, but nor did I want to.
I respect Tim Tebow. I respect his opinion. I love his passion. I just could not disagree with it more.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick and Wingo. Well, I'm assuming you can hear this as long as Justin didn't pull a Coos move and mess up. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back from Mandarin High School. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, back in the Action Sports Jack studios here on a Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us all week long as we get ready for the Jaguars in Denver game coming up in Denver. I'll be there, by the way, in Colorado on Sunday for that one. We'll have TV coverage starting in the morning, countdown to kickoff, 11:30, post-game show on Action News Jax and the Action News Jax app. And then at night, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. We will, of course, have Action Sports Jax prime time. In between now and then, the Friday Night Blitz tonight, our game of the week here from Mandarin High School. We have SEC tonight, tomorrow at 7, and another half-hour show with Action Sports Jax prime time tomorrow night. So, hey, we got you covered here on ESPN 690, also on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Austin, can you hear the music well, and can you figure out what song's playing?
Yeah, we got Queen, Another One Bites the Dust.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Took me a minute, but I got it. And
all right.
And my hearing is absolute trash too, so extra props for that.
Why is your hearing bad? Did you get hit in the ear a little bit?
Oh no, just like it's always kind of been bad. I actually in first grade I had to go to a specialist because my teacher demanded that I go see it, a specialist for hearing. And then I had to do a bunch of tests, and they brought my mom in the room, and they're like, all right, well, we know it's wrong. It appears Austin Lane has selective hearing, and whatever he's listening to in class, he doesn't want to listen to. So, yeah, my teacher was kind of upset with that. But no, like, my hearing is not the best, though. I have to have everything loud, probably from, blaring music to the nth degree since I was like 10 years old. So.
Well, I won't make fun of you for that then, I guess.
No, you can, man. It's fine. I mean, it's all good.
I figure in this generation, our eyes and our ears are all going to go, right?
For the most part. I mean, my eyes are still on point, but yeah, my hearing is going to go eventually.
All right, hey, a little Minshew Mania mention. He was voted the Pepsi NFL Rookie of the Week, Week 3. Also won the event, week number 1 the award, week number 1. Minshew, how about this? You ready for the crazy numbers of Gardner Minshew? Tad Dickman, by the way, coming up with this. Minshew is one of 3 players with 200-plus passing yards and a 95 passer rating in each of the first 3 games in 2019. Can you guess the other 2?
Say it one more time, please.
200-plus yards passing and a 95-plus passer rating in each of the first 3 games of 2019. Guess the other 2.
It's got to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And first 3 games it is?
Yep.
It's not Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see this?
No.
Well, those are 2 good guesses.
I'm just trying to figure out. Yes. Hey, Brett, good quarterbacks, man. It ain't that hard, dude.
Yeah, it's good. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and Gardner Minshew in the same breath 3 weeks into the year.
I like it.
That's unbelievable. Gosh, it's just crazy.
Put him in the Ring of Honor right now.
Uncle Rico, get him in a movie.
Yep.
It's fun.
Oh, it's going to be an ESPN 30 for 30 for sure. Can't wait.
Well, yeah. Well, that depends on the rest of the season, as we've always mentioned in the last few days. But more Minshew Mania to come. We're going to take a time out. We go to timeout, though, and we leave you with some Guns N' Roses tickets. Time to give a couple of those away. Tuesday's show at Veterans Memorial Arena. A couple of tickets. All you got to do is call star 690 904-362-9901. And let's call it number... we won't make Scott work too hard. How about number 3? Number 3. Caller number 3 going to Guns N' Roses. 2 tickets to head into the weekend. A winner. All you have to do is call star 690 904-362-9901. More Minshew Mania. More Jags talk. Our picks coming up. And Josh Allen and Calais Campbell on the art of pass rushing. Can't wait to get your thoughts on this, Austin. It's all next on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Doug Brown. Chargers running back Melvin Gordon, who just ended his holdout on Thursday, will travel with the team to Miami and could play Sunday against the Dolphins. So says head coach Anthony Lynn, although it's still considered a long shot. The Eagles defensive end Derek Barnett will not be suspended for his hit last night on Packers running back Jamal Williams on the first play of the game. There could still be a fine for Barnett. NFL owners are considering a plan that would add a game to the regular season and eliminate preseason games. Tom Waddle from ESPN 1000 in Chicago doesn't like that idea.
I think a couple of preseason games allows guys like me to go out there and prove to the coaches that I deserve a spot on the 53-man roster. So in a perfect world for me, it would be 2 preseason games and it would be 16 regular season games.
Tom Waddle on Golick and Wingo. The contract talks between the Rockets and head coach Mike D'Antoni didn't go anywhere over the summer, but GM Daryl Morey says today he sees D'Antoni in Houston long term and that it'll all get worked out after the season.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
Is today the day it'll finally stop raining?
We sure hope so, but it's been a very wet summer so far. This is Mike with Big Fish Roofing. Don't forget, your roof is the first line of defense against the elements. Here at Big Fish Roofing, as an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we are locally owned and we drive our business with quality and integrity. We do not require any down payments until your roof project is complete. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing. We are the roofers you can trust. We are Big Fish Roofing.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Supra Sales Event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Camry? It's not $26,000. Now it's only $17,988. That's $17,988 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? It's not $22,000. No way. Now it's just $13,888. Just $13,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
Pros, start with Lowe's for the brands you rely on every day, like A.O. Smith and SharkBite. Lowe's is the only place you'll find A.O. Smith Signature Series water heaters. From point of use to 100-gallon capacities, whatever size the job, you can count on us to have what you need. Plus, the Signature Series now includes gas and electric tankless models. Make your next plumbing job easier and save time by choosing from our full assortment of SharkBite push-to-connect fittings. For your next job and every job after, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, U.S. only.
Cooler weather's around the corner, which means your ride better be ready. At AutoZone, we've got the free services you need to drive with confidence. Like our free AutoZone Fix Finder service. If your check engine light is on, our Fix Finder service will help troubleshoot the likely issue. It could be something serious or maybe something simple. So knowing the likely issue can save you a lot of time and money down the road. And if you need help from a repair shop, we know some of the best. To learn more, visit us online at AutoZone.com. Restrictions and details apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back from Mandarin High School. Our game of the week, an hour away. Early start in Duval County, 6 o'clock kick between Nice and the Mandarin Mustangs, the defending state champions, of course, led by Carson Beck, a Georgia commit, and still committed to play for the Dogs. Just visited, actually, for his official, even though he's been verbally committed for a while now. I think last week or a couple weeks ago he was up in Athens. So we'll get to see him on display. First home game for Mandarin. And here we are. We'll have the game at 6 o'clock on ESPN 690. All the social platforms will have video as well. And then tonight on the Friday Night Blitz, you can see the complete recap of this game and so many others throughout the area each and every week on the Blitz, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. One more hour to go in the week for you, Austin Lane. You better hang in there and you better bring it this final hour.
I'm going to bring it this final hour. You know, it's been a rough one, you know. I mean, training camp's been going good this whole week, so got kicked in the face a little bit yesterday, so I'm feeling the results of that. That was my fault, though. Nobody blamed but myself. But yeah, man, I'm going to bring it the last hour, and then I'm going to enjoy the little break.
Yeah, that's how is the fight camp going? I mean, you're still a ways away. Where is it in terms of intensity-wise? You'll fight next November 9th. I don't think we know the opponent yet, but you know that date is set November 9th at the Moroccan Shrine, right?
Correct, yeah, Morocco Shrine. Yeah, so as far as the intensity is concerned, listen, anytime you're in fight camp, the intensity's at 110, so that's where we're at right now. It's more of like as far as like the strength training is concerned, which I'm sure you're more interested in than actually the sparring stuff. Like the strength training right now, it's about, you know, getting stronger. It's about adding the base. It's about getting the muscular endurance. And then we're going to start phase 2 here in about a week or so. And phase 2 is going to be more of like explosiveness, speed, and things like that.
Okay. I feel like this is a little early for fight camp. I thought it was like a 6-week deal.
No, ideally fight camp's usually like 9 to 8 weeks. depending.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's
Or hey, how about
What's
8
up?
to 9 weeks?
Yeah, sorry about that. Well,
I mean, it was
That
just
too.
like you
Yeah,
just
that was
like
bad.
gave the score of last week's Titans game 7-20.
Yeah,
Okay?
so 8 to 9 weeks, 9 to 8 weeks, whatever you want to, whatever you guys prefer. If you're dyslexic, I got your back. But yeah, usually it's like 8 to 9 weeks, and then obviously, I mean, on top of that, I've still been training regardless throughout the whole year. So when I come into fight camp, I'm already in shape, which helps a lot.
All right. How about it's a Friday and heading into the weekend, and it's happy hour horn time here
Let's get
on a
it.
Friday.
Y'all no make nobody come between us. Can't make nobody come between us. Oh, cherry baby.
As the careless party now begin, see the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace, no. Nothing. Anything goes. Gangsters rolling, half face smiling. It's all about think of the rhythm what you're drinking. Anything goes. Hey.
Grab a drink, get a shot, sip your Star Tenders, and happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday indeed. Vita de Luis recently got a 94 rating, by the way, a locally owned tequila in Jacksonville, and they want to help their friends in the Bahamas. Hey, everyone wants to help everyone out in the Bahamas, so you can too. Raise money for Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising. If you go to VitaDeLuis.com, 50% of all the merchandise will go to those funds. So VitaDeLuis.com. Made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jax Beach. Vita de Luis, one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. And once again, VitaDeLuis.com to help our friends in the Bahamas. 50% of all merchandise will go to those funds. Hey, Austin, last night on Jaguars All Access, we had your kind of guys out there. Josh Allen, Calais Campbell, and Jeff Lageman does the show with me.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we had a bunch of pass rushers, man. We had a big part of
Bunch of
Saxonville.
trench warriors. I love it.
Yeah, big part of Saxonville out there. Awesome crowd at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale, so we appreciate everybody coming out. And we do a thing called Jaguars All Access Overtime after, where I jump out of there, and those three guys kind of talk about something different that we might not have talked about on the show. Well, we got into kind of the games that you guys will play on the defensive line. So it's a little inside football, but it was a really fascinating discussion with Josh Allen, Calais Campbell, and Jeff Lageman. Check it out.
Here we are with Saxonville, Josh Allen, the talented young player, and Calais Campbell, the veteran. What is it like as a veteran guy to work with a rookie? Because now you guys are starting to work together, same side rushes, and a lot of times you're running games with each other. How's that working out?
You know, I switched over to the left side, so I kind of was on the same side as him, where they wanted him to play at. So at the beginning, it was really just trying to get a feel for how he rushes, and then trying to figure out how we could rush together, especially with our texts and our exits and different games that we do where we pick each other's. Usually it's 2-on-1, trying to create 2-on-1 matchups. So we pick one of the guys so we can wrap around, and I'll let you go over one day. You can teach everybody how the games work, but at the end of the day, for a rookie, my biggest thing was how could I get him to be successful. And how can I get him to understand how to run games properly? So we work together, spend our time with it, and it's been very good for us so far.
Well, and I saw in the game, Josh, that Calais did the hump move on Roger Saffold, and that's when Leon Jacobs and Big Marcel ended up getting a sack. I also saw the Karate Kid, the wax off move that he had to get into the backfield to get a sack. Are you learning some of these moves from him?
Calais moves a lot different to me, but I'm definitely trying to steal some from him. But it's not like stealing, because if I ask him, he'll tell me. He'll show me how to do it, which I respect from him, appreciate it. But just watching him rush, because I don't get to watch him rush for real, because I'm rushing with him. But when I watch film, it's crazy how this big man moves, and it's great to see.
What is your favorite move that you have? The Josh Allen patented move.
Long arm, I guess. I guess when I got to the league, I guess that was my favorite one.
Yeah, his power with his long arm and then his ability to go back to speed off of it is what makes him special. I try to help him with things that I know he can do well that I can't do. There's a lot of times where I can't really do this move, but this move will work for you. Try it out. And it's fun when you see him do it and do it well, and he kind of sees the confidence in it. But we got to give a shout out to Coach Rebs, our D-line coach, Coach Rebs. He really tries to just build an arsenal of moves. He puts us through a lot of different drills, working moves. moves that sometimes I'm like, I know I can't do this move. This move's not for me, but I try it anyway just to see. And then there's times where it's moves that like, okay, I like this move a lot. I'm gonna use this one. But he puts us through all kinds of different arsenal moves that we can build on. And really, it's cool because he teaches probably about 10 different moves. Now I stick to about 3 or 4 of them. The young guy over here though, he has a lot more fluidity, so he can probably do like 6 or 7 of them. But in pass rushing though, you don't want to get too cute. 1 rush, 2 rushes, a counter off of both of them, you'll be good.
And one thing I do like, ball awareness. You got it. You got one of your sacks was reaching in there and swatting at that ball, and you got it out.
Yeah. Once I started to play, great football, like good football to that point, and I realized it's not all about sacking the quarterback. The ball is more important. If you have the ball, you control the game. So now that's my mindset when I rush to get the ball out. And plus, they emphasize it every day when we rush: get the ball out, get the ball out, get the ball out. Ball's the key. You know what I mean? So I'm always ball aware. It's like Calais, Jan, all the rest of the guys. So hopefully we'll get many more.
Some guys have the knack for it, though. You have a knack for it.
I appreciate that.
And hopefully you guys get it out this week, get the first defensive takeaway of the season.
We're due up.
I know, right? That's crazy.
Well, there you go. That was last night. Jaguars All Access Overtime, we call it, with Logs and Calais Campbell and Josh Allen. I thought that was a fascinating discussion. As someone who doesn't claim to know the X's and O's, Austin Lane, what do you think about that conversation about how many different moves they teach, first of all, how many different moves Calais was saying that you'll actually use, and the young guy trying to learn how to use more of them?
Brent, I'm salivating right now, man. I'm like Pavlov's dog right now. I mean, all you had to say was text and exit, and I'm like, all right, you have my full undivided attention. I thought it was some great insight, and everything that they were saying, it hit home for sure. The first thing, breaking down the text and exit stunts and things like that. So usually in the pass rush game, if you're going to be calling your own shots, that's what a lot of guys do. Like, you have to remember, when you're game planning, sometimes coaches, like for instance Schwartz, that I played for in Detroit, he's a defensive-minded guy. He's a defensive coordinator now for the Philadelphia Eagles. He relied more on he knew what he wanted, right? So he didn't really leave the players up to control it all. Like, you would think, all right, Sue was calling his own game. That wasn't really the case at all. Like, we would actually pre-plan what we were going to run. So maybe the first thing we're going to run is exit. Then the second one was going to be a text. It wasn't really spontaneous. Now, what the Jacksonville Jaguars do, I think it's a little more spontaneous, where whoever the game caller is, usually it's the 3 technique or the guy that's over the center. Why? Because he's in the middle of everybody, right? Like, you don't want to have your game caller be the guy that's on the end of the line, be a defensive end, because then he's kind of hard to see. So usually the game caller is going to be in the middle. And you can either say something in code, or else you can put up hand signals. Like, for instance, when I played for the Jaguars, Terrence Knighton was the game caller, and we used hand signals. So you still see hand signals to this day. So if you're ever watching really closely a defensive line, and all of a sudden you see a guy throw up like a hook 'em horns or something like that real quick, like a nose tackle or a defensive tackle, that means they're probably going to run a text. And what the text means basically is the fact that it's going to be the tackle is going to go first, and then the end goes around him. So, it's all about communication. It's all about being on the same page, and it's funny because guys like different kind of things. Some guys are really good at running the exit game. Some guys are good at running the text game. Some guys love doing the coffee house, and basically the coffee house is where you fake a game. If you're a defensive end, you look inside, you fake like you're going to go inside, and then you go back outside. And sometimes that works, but it's all about the setup. So, yeah, I mean, hearing him talk about that, and Josh Allen being the rookie, he still has to learn how to run the games properly and things like that. But I thought it was all gravy, man. It was good to hear that stuff.
I think I would pick the coffee house for a variety of reasons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously for that reason, let alone that you're addicted to coffee. But, yeah, usually the coffee house is probably the hardest to hit, and you don't see it that much. And the coffee house is basically, it's just a fake out, So where, say, you run an exit the first game, well, then you go and you do a coffee house. And the signal for coffee house is like you're drinking something. So if you ever see a lineman in his stance, acting like, doing like the drinking something gesture, that probably means that a coffee house is coming. Now, obviously, offensive linemen are smart dudes. They get hip to the game a little bit. So sometimes, you have to have code words for what you're going to be running. But, yeah, very cool things. And then Calais Campbell made a great point, too, of, how many pass rush moves should you have? And it's like I always said, and if there's any high schoolers right now, any guys that are looking to get into the league, hopefully in the future, that play either linebacker or defensive end or defensive tackle, when you're in those scout meetings, because you have to understand, like playing defensive end, playing a rush linebacker, it's an art, and it's almost a lifestyle, and it's so much of a lifestyle where you have to know what you're good at. So when I was in the combine meetings, talking to scouts or head coaches or whoever, I mean, the very first question that they usually asked you was, what's your favorite go-to move? And you have to respond like that, because if you don't, it shows that you don't like the art of pass rushing. And then maybe they'll ask, all right, what's your favorite counter move? Boom. You have to announce it. And if you hesitate, if you start going, I don't know, that's not a good look for you. So always have your pass rush moves in mind.
Interesting. And by the way, so many of these guys, especially a top 10 talent like a Josh Allen, get away with just their physical ability.
Yes.
Dante Fowler was like that too. You're so good, so physically blessed. At the college level, it works. At the NFL game, well, it's a different story. You better be able to put some things into your repertoire and be able to perfect them and be able to fool some folks too, not just to use your athletic ability. By the way, I didn't even realize this until Log said it, because it feels like their defense has played so well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They have 0 turnovers. The defense has not forced a turnover through 3 games. We keep talking about Denver, and, of course, all the sacks the Jags got last Thursday night kind of, I think, blurred that part of it.
Sure.
But the only turnover was off the special teams, and Leon Jacobs recovered the muff punt.
That is a good point.
Hey, as much as we talk about Denver's defense needs to get going from a sack and turnover potential, and look out, that could happen. Well, the floodgates might open for this Jacksonville defense now that they started getting after the quarterback again too. Something to keep an eye on, because last year they did not force enough turnovers. And if they are going to be this elite defenses, what did we talk about earlier in the week? Who would you pick? Well, Chicago continues to force turnovers.
True.
Jaguars, it's one thing to get after the quarterback. You still have to get after the football, too. We'll see if the Jaguars can do it Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Hey, when we come back, I have no idea if this guy can play football, but I bet he thinks he can. I mean, he won a World Series, pitched in the big leagues. Now he's like a country music star. Maybe he'll play a song about Gardner Minshew coming up.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Brett Myers joins us for our Celebrity Six-Pack of Picks. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly clear skies and mild temperatures tonight, dropping to near 70 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker Sports.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
Don't even talk to me.
Uh-oh, sounds like you're having a moment.
It's not a moment. It's just been one of those days.
Boss, what happened?
So I'm driving around doing errands and stuff. I counted 14 Safe Touch security signs while I was out. 14!
Well, I guess word's out that Safe Touch is the best.
I mean, there's Safe Touch signs in yards, Safe Touch stickers on drive-thru windows, Safe Touch on billboards, Safe Touch on the radio. I'm about to lose my mind!
Boss, it's okay. There's still plenty of houses out there without Safe Touch.
Yeah, but the more people hear about the two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time, the crash and smash.
What do kids say these days? Safe Touch is going viral. Kind of funny when you think about it.
Oh, I hate Safe Touch!
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Supra sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander? It's not $35,500. Now, it's only $24,888. That's $24,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Highlander at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota 4Runner? It's not $36,500. No way. Now it's just $28,888. Just $28,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota 4Runner at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
What's good, Stephen A?
If you're a New York Jets fan, let's just say this. Damn, you can't catch a break. I mean, the New York Jets, when's the last time they've been relevant?
Catch Stephen A. weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Trey Wingo here from Golic and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane. Give the guys a call. Grab your cell phone and call ** 690. This is ESPN 690.
Yes, indeed it is. A big weekend ahead in college football, NFL, of course, and right here tonight we've got high school football. Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Kevin Sullivan ready to join me for the broadcast on ESPN 690. That's coming up at 6 o'clock. Our Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show gets going at 5:45. We'll have video of it as well on social media, and then the Friday Night Blitz will have all the highlights of it tonight and many other games around the area, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. By the way, quick mention, and I have not been able to do it. We've been so Jalen Ramsey crazy, Jags crazy, that I want to go back a couple of weeks to our Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 and thank the folks from PerfectGolfEvent.com. You know, there are more than 200 golf events, charity golf events in the area, and we've been doing ours now for a handful of years, the tournament part. And the last couple of years used PerfectGolfEvent.com. And it's really helpful to take care of the billing part, the foursomes part. They put all the pairings together. You can buy contests from them. It really streamlines the process. So trust me, I know how taxing it is to put together a tournament. And this is just friendly advice. If you want to use, make it a little easier for your committee, make it a little easier for your golf tournament, check out PerfectGolfEvent.com. They helped us out the last couple of years, and it's been fantastic. Speaking of the Action Sports Jacks Stream 18, I don't know how many times this guy cheated in it, but probably a little bit. We bring in former big league pitcher, World Series champ, and well, I bet he can throw a football a little bit. He's a country music sensation now. He's actually going to a country music concert tonight. Brantley Gilbert's in town at Daly's Place. Welcome, Brett Myers. Why aren't you opening for this guy tonight, man?
Well, just because I'm not good enough, apparently.
Well, at least you're honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, one day, hopefully one day.
Now, you've got something coming up, though, right, with Colt Ford? Aren't you doing an event?
Yeah, we're doing the Ham Jam at Clay County Fairgrounds, October 19th, and we're gonna be out there, and we're opening for Colt, and it's gonna be awesome. This will be probably our 9th or 10th time opening for Colt. He's a great guy, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool to follow your music career. Are you still having fun with it? Is it frustrating because it doesn't move as fast as you want sometimes? What's your outlook on it now moving forward?
Well, Brent, I think you know me very well. Nothing goes fast enough for me. It needs to happen right now, and sometimes you got to pay your dues. The same thing with sports or anything like that. You got to work your way up and everything. But what the industry doesn't understand is I'm not getting any younger.
That is true. In your old profession, you find that out too, right? Throwing a baseball. Let's talk baseball playoffs before we get to our picks. Who do you like? And please don't tell me the Yankees. Just please, or I might hang up on you.
I am a big supporter of not the Yankees. I'm telling you what, it's going to be hard to beat Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Zach Greinke in the playoffs, man. There's just no better net. There's 3 guys right now that are possibly going to be possibly going to be the Cy Young Award winners. They got 2 of them on one team. I mean, how many teams have that?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Who's your favorite pitcher in the game right now?
Right now, shoot, I don't know. I guess. I actually enjoyed watching Garrett Cole throw this year, man. He just kind of doesn't care, and he lets it eat. He just lets it eat, and he's got nasty stuff.
Yeah, well, you're coaching like 8- and 9-year-olds, so you're probably not even watching the big leaguers. I mean, you're seeing like 45 miles an hour these days.
Don't remind me. And by the way, no, there's definitely some kids that throw over 45.
Yeah, well, not mine, and he's not 8 or 9.
Well, but see, that's the best thing with Ty, though. He could get those good hitters out because he threw under the hitting speed. That's how you do it.
You got to be under the radar.
Jamie Moyer made a career out of that, buddy.
Change of pace.
All right, man. How big a fan are you in the college football game? I know you follow the Jags quite closely. I know you picked the Eagles last night. Obviously, you got a connection to Philadelphia. But how about the college game? Are you a big college football fan?
Yeah, I love watching football, and this is what's terrible about having kids that play fall baseball. I don't get to watch enough of football to find out who's really good at the time, But yes, I love when football season comes around. It was always for me that's to tell me that baseball season's over, and I get to go home and relax and take a month off, and then get ready to work out and watch some football and just kind of take your mind off of the game a little bit.
All right, here's the deal with our pick segment, by the way. I am 8-10 overall. Marcel is 8-10. Coos is 8-10, no surprise. Stewart 9-9, Austin 9-9, and our guests have done very well. They're 11-7. So you guys are in first place, and you have a little bit of something to live up to here today. Brett Myers, as he joins us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 for our Celebrity Six-Pack of picks segment. So let's get it going, and we begin with college football.
Wait, if I win, I get a six-pack? Is that what you said?
Yeah. You know what? For you, I'll buy you a six-pack.
Don't worry about it.
I smell a sponsor coming. I like the idea of that. All right. By the way, we're going to begin with college football. And remember, now we're against the spread. Ohio State going to Nebraska and Scott Frost. This one has all Buckeyes written all over it. But do you like them by 17 points, Brett?
Absolutely not. I'm going to take Scott Frost. I'm going to take Nebraska. I think they have a good shot at covering that, and that's just my pick. And I've been watching a little bit of college football enough to know, and I know Fields is a absolute great quarterback and everything like that. But I'm going to put my money on Scott Frost.
Oh, you surprised me right off the rip. All right, Austin, what do you think about that one?
It's going to be the home of college game day, too. What a treat. A 17-point favorite traveling to Nebraska and the Children of the Corn. I'm taking Ohio State. I think the only way Nebraska's going to win is if Ohio State turns the ball over. I think they're going to be smart. They're going to play sound football on their biggest road test. Give me Ohio State with 17.
Stewart picked Ohio State. Marcel sent me the picks, and I can't find them right now because my phone's acting up. But so I don't know what he picked. But we'll get it all in order. They'll make the segment go quicker if I don't know his picks, and Kuz's as well. But I'm with you, Brett. I thought I'd be the only one here, but I'm going to go with Nebraska, too. I think they find a way to cover. Ohio State's been really good, like really, really good. Justin Fields has been unbelievable. But I think there's always a little bit of a correction at some point. They're not just going to dominate everybody. They'll win the game, but the scoreboard says a little bit closer than most people think. All right, the next one up, USC at Washington. These are two teams that have been really tough to figure, and you have to stay up late. I know you like to stay up late, Myers.
And I have, and I'm going to tell you, I've watched 2 games of USC, and I'm going to tell you what, I think they're back. And I'm going to take USC in this plus 10.5. Washington. I actually think USC wins the game.
Wow, how about that? And they've had to play multiple quarterbacks because of the injury situations, and they've done a nice job with it. That's a bold pick, in my opinion. I'm going to take the Huskies. My favorite coach in college football is Chris Peterson, and I'm going to say they rolled a week ago, and I think they're going to cover this one as well against USC.
You don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback coached by Kurt Warner now.
That's true. All right, Austin, what do you have?
Go ahead and give me the Huskies as well. Jacob Eason, I think it's time to showcase that he's actually the real deal at quarterback. I get it. Cal came into Washington a couple weeks ago, beat him. I think Cal's actually a lot better than people give him credit for. And I think USC with the rookie quarterback, the first-year guy, going to a pretty hostile environment in Washington, Go ahead and give me the Huskies.
All right, last college football game. By the way, Weber says Washington as well. Last college football game, Virginia at Notre Dame. Tricky game for Notre Dame, coming off that Saturday night game where they had some success, and I think they impressed some people. But now they have to turn right around and play the 18th team in the country, 18th ranked team in the country. I'm going to say Virginia covers the spread here. It's 12.5 points, which is a lot for a pretty good football team going into South Bend. And Notre Dame always has the target on their back. What say you, Brett?
I'm going to take Notre Dame this time. They played Georgia really well last weekend, and I know everybody made mistakes and everything like that, but I'm just going to go for Notre Dame this week because after a tough loss, I think everybody wants to get back in there, much like the Jaguars did last week and everything, and they showed up. So I think Notre Dame shows up.
Austin, you going with the Who's or the Domers?
Oh, I'm going with the Who's for sure. You know, I like me a good defensive line, and Virginia's got a good defensive line. I think they're right up at the top when it comes to QB sacks, something that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish didn't get a lot of against the Georgia Bulldogs. All due respect to them. I think Virginia has the ability to, kind of keep it a close game, control the clock, which is so important for them. So I'm taking Virginia with the points.
Yeah, I always wonder if Virginia can score enough. We'll see if they can do it in South Bend on Saturday. All right, now to the NFL. Browns and the Ravens. Ravens are favored by 6.5 against the Cleveland Browns. This is a tricky game because it's a divisional game, and the Browns, man, they can't go to 1-3, Brett.
I'm with you on that, and I think the same reason why I took the Eagles last night, and I just felt like that they had a bad upset or bad loss the week before, and I just feel like the NFL is very difficult to pick just because they are so talented and stuff like that. I'm going to take the Browns. I think they're very talented, and I know the Ravens have put up a lot of points and everything like that, but I'm going to take the Browns this week.
All right, Austin, what do you think? Does Mayfield break out and have a big game after he's called out by Rex Ryan?
So, if the Ravens are vulnerable on defense, it is through the passing game. You saw it against the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's hard to not take Baltimore right now. The way they're rolling on offense, they can beat you multiple ways with Marquise Brown. They got Mark Andrews at tight end. They have a solid run game with Mark Ingram. And I think it's too much for the Cleveland Browns. So go ahead and give me the Ravens.
Weber's coming.
I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. That's just my feeling.
Bonus point.
Hey, by the way, Myers, I don't like agreeing with you very much, quite frankly, but I do. I think the Browns will cover this. This will be closer than most people anticipate, and I think it's a huge game. Carson Wentz said yesterday, to bring up your Philadelphia point, we played it earlier in the show, that being 2-2 is a big deal rather than being 1-3 in this league. Yeah. And I think the Browns may feel the same. Again, that means they'll play well. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll keep it pretty darn close. Cowboys going to the Saints. Now, this is an interesting game. Cowboys have been so good. The Saints, who knows with Teddy Bridgewater. Cowboys a favorite on the road by 2.5 points. What do you like, Austin?
Go and give me the Saints. I understand there's a lot of hype around the Cowboys right now, but when you're giving them 2.5 in New Orleans, I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater believer. I think they have the weapons with Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, so I think they can keep the game close and actually win it outright.
All right, Brett, what do you think?
So I'm flip-flopped on this one right now because I just don't think the Cowboys can go 4-0. I really don't. I know they don't. The Saints don't have Drew Brees and everything like that. But I can tell you something that you can't count Sean Payton out. So go ahead and give me the Saints. Plus, I hate the Cowboys because I'm an Eagles fan.
That might be picking with your heart more than your head on this one. By the way, Stuart says the Cowboys, and that's not a bad pick, only 2.5. Yeah, I thought I might be alone on this one too, but I'm not. I like the Saints. Cowboys are my Super Bowl team, believe it or not, but I don't think they're going 16-0, and so you have a hiccup here or there. And the Saints are a good football team.
The Saints impressed me a little bit last week. Impressed me a little bit last week. They won the game. You think that their season's going to fall apart without Drew Brees. Teddy Bridgewater jumped in and made a heck of an adjustment, and they won that game. So, you can't count Teddy Bridgewater out. So
I like it. I like the Saints because I think they have a good football team around Teddy Bridgewater. It's not just about Drew Brees or just about Bridgewater. I like the rest of their football team. Okay, finally, Jaguars go to Denver, of course. They're a 3-point dog on the road at Mile High. Denver is desperate. They're winless. They're mad. Von Miller's mad. And the Jaguars have Minshew mania. We have no idea if Jalen Ramsey will play. But at the end of the day, Stuart Weber says the Jaguars are going to win. I feel like there's a hidden momentum right now around the Jaguars, and I like the Jaguars to win this football game and go to 2-2. Give it to me, Brett. What do you think?
If the boys can breathe and they have enough oxygen, I'm going to take the Jags.
Very good call.
All
right, Austin.
there and you get cotton mouth pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, that's true. You have played there. By the way, how many home runs did you give up when you played there?
Actually, you know what? I was the only pitcher in Colorado history to start off and win a game 1-0 as an opposing pitcher there. So I actually enjoyed pitching there.
Really?
You know, the key to that was people tried to throw their breaking ball so hard, but you couldn't overwork it. You know, so I figured it out early, luckily enough.
Wait, so say that again. I didn't know that one. There's a lot of interesting stats about you in your career in the major leagues. I didn't realize that. So you were – what year would that have been? Give me do you remember?
I would probably say anywhere from 05, 06, I would say. And I remember because Ryan Howard hit a home run in the top of the ninth to give me the win.
Wow, awesome! So you were the first road-winning pitcher.
A pinch hit home run, and he was sick with the flu. So I owe him my next 5 contracts.
Wow! Did you just say sick with the flu? See that? See, Jalen might have a big game on Sunday.
I hope Jalen shows up.
I do too. All right, what do you have, Austin?
Yeah, go and give me the Jaguars. You know,
we all homering up here.
Well, and I understand, like, it's the NFL, right? So all odds should say that Denver's going to come out and have about 10 sacks, you know, and Joe Flacco's going to go off with Emmanuel Sanders for like 3 touchdowns. But I'm just not buying on the Denver Broncos right now. And whether Jalen plays or does not play, I don't think it really matters. I think the Jaguars are talented enough to beat the Broncos, who are the most vulnerable, and that's the short pass game.
Joe Flacco is not going to be able to keep up with the speed of the Jags defense. I'm with you.
I like that, man. Especially, you know, the Broncos have struggled in the short pass game. I think John DeFilippo has a great game script, tries to run the ball. When they do pass, they use the receivers in the short pass game. Denver can't stop it. I have the Jaguars winning straight up.
All right, good stuff. Hey, Brett Myers, you were really good at this analysis. We got to get you back on sooner than later. And by the way, nice moment at your alma mater, Inglewood, earlier this week with the new locker room. I like
awesome. That was great what Rasheen did and everything, and the Jacksonville Jaguars did and everything like that. Now we got to get something done for the baseball team, you know? So,
I agree with you. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
That stadium in 99. They condemned the baseball stadium there in 99 when I was there, and we had to play our games basically on the road at UNF, which didn't suck because UNF has a pretty awesome field. So.
Hey, I'm with you. I like where you're going there, and I think they should do it. Make Inglewood baseball the facilities just as good. That would be fantastic. Hey, enjoy the concert tonight, Brentley Gilbert at Daly's Place. Also, where do we find your music? How people get it?
You can go to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. It's sold everywhere digitally.
All right. Thanks, man. Brett Myers, former big league pitcher, World Series champ, now country music artist, joining us on our Celebrity Six-Pack of Picks. Have a good night, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Pretty fun stuff. Hopefully you got all that, Scott. We'll keep a tally of it, and we'll see if the celebrity continues to win on our Celebrity Six-Pack of Picks segment. I like what he said there about Inglewood. We were talking about that earlier in the week. Maybe the baseball program gets some good facilities, too, at Inglewood High School. All right, Austin, here's the deal, man. You have to get Ronan well.
I will. Yes, sir. I know. I mean, he's going to be bummed we didn't see you on. Because you're not going to be on the TV at all, are you, in Denver? Or will you be on the TV?
Nah, not on like the national broadcast.
Yeah. So he's probably gonna be bummed about that a little bit. But
tell him he can watch CBS 47 and Fox 30 just about every day and see me if he really wants to.
Well, no, for sure. There we go, and we can do that. We can DVR that and set it up for his pleasure. We're gonna get him healthy. We're getting him back on. He's not gonna be questionable next week. He's gonna be ready to go in the game and everything like that. And I'm just thankful that he doesn't have a baby coming. So we're all good, because that would be really weird and awkward for everybody.
Yeah, that would be. Yes, I think I'm going to leave my comments alone here.
Leave it at that, Brent.
I'm going to leave it at that. All right, man. Have a great weekend. Scott, thanks for hanging with us all week, bud. We appreciate it. Nice job. And you're not
happy
going
to be here, bud,
because we've got our Action Sports Shacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show coming up in just a few minutes. Kevin Sullivan will join me, Mandarin and Nice, all night long. We've got some high school football, and, of course, it leads into the Friday Night Blitz a little bit later on tonight. For Austin, Stewart, Marcel, Scott, Coos, everybody this week, have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy watching some football. Appreciate you hanging out with us all week long on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Game of the Week coming up next.
Vida de Louis, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, wants to help our friends in the Bahamas. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brent Martineau. Vida de Louis is one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. It's made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. But Vida de Louis has friends all over the world, and that includes in the Bahamas. Help us raise money for the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising.
Check out Vida de Louis on social media and the website Vida de